Guys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Good morning, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Today is the first day of Sacramento Kings training camp. We've got tons of coverage from yesterday's Kings Media Day up right now on the Sactown Sports YouTube page and SactownSports.com. We got interviews with Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox, 15 Sacramento Kings players, Monty McNair, and more, all available for your viewing pleasure. In baseball, the playoffs start today. There's 4 wildcard rounds that are going to begin at 12 o'clock noon today. Stay tuned for updates throughout the broadcast. Those are your headlines. Let's get started with the show right here on Sactown Sports.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Yes. We are here, Sactown Sports, 11:40 a.m. Chris Watkins joined by your guy, or hopefully your future guy, Allen Stiles. Beam Team Part 2?
Yes.
It's underway. What stuck out from Media Day? Chris, I'm coming to you with all that, what the expectation should be. Is the honeymoon stage over, or are you still just happy with making the playoffs? And maybe we'll eventually get to some Niners. Is there really anything to say about the Niners? They're the best right now. All right, maybe they'll have a tough one against the Cowboys. I doubt it, because I doubt Dak. Well, let's start here, Chris. Good to be with you, man.
Yeah, excited. Been excited. You know, I knew that we were going to do this show after Media Day, so it's been circled on my calendar for a while, and I'm excited. You know, Kyle mentioned in the update that training camp starts today, Media Day yesterday, and the Niners got that Cowboys game this week. So yeah. I think we're shaping up for a really, really exciting week, and it feels good to kind of have the sports calendar going again, you know?
Yes. As much as
baseball. We got playoff baseball today,
baseball.
too.
And we're going to talk about that because
I definitely forgot about baseball. Let me tell you.
In the green room, and it's not surprising. You don't seem like the biggest baseball guy. Personally, I am a baseball guy. We see Kyle with the Padres back there, ready to go.
I am ready to watch San Diego in the playoffs today. Very excited.
Well, I'll be watching the Giants right there with you.
I know. Both of our teams were not good.
Anything at all. So, Chris, let's start here. When it comes to the Kings, what stuck out? I caught majority of your interviews. There were some good ones.
There were some gems.
What stuck out to you the most in terms of the interviews and just the expectations for this team?
Yeah, I think in general, just kind of the energy and the vibe was a little bit different than what we're used to. I mean, this is an organization that, I'm sure you're aware that has had a history of losing, and part of that is going into Media Day with sometimes some false expectations. You're a lot of hopes and dreams of what's going to happen, but a lot of the times the reality of what ends up happening is very far from what you expect on Media Day, or from what they expect on Media Day. But this year just felt chill. It felt like there wasn't necessarily a need to hype everybody up. Last year, Mike Brown infamously had that scream that, everybody heard throughout the season. That was on Media Day last year. Like, that's how he set the tone coming out for his first ever Kings Media Day. And that wasn't the vibe this year. It didn't feel like they needed to announce themselves. It felt like it was a lot more of, hey, last year was great for almost like information input. This year, we're going to take what we learned from last year and we're going to try and build upon it. And I think that's kind of been a theme of this offseason is just continuing to build and not necessarily looking to, no one wants to take a step forward, but doing as much as you can to try and ensure that you don't have that slip back to another playoff drought.
Right. So it seems to me, the vibe that I got, and a lot of times teams will be a version of their leader, right? They kind of just copy however the leader is. And De'Aaron Fox has that quiet confidence. And that's what I saw yesterday. I saw a lot of, look, you guys are going to keep sleeping on us. We know the West is stacked. We're going to handle our business over here.
Exactly.
And I think that's great because so many times when you have that, and I don't think that Sacramento, the Kings, have the little brother complex, but I think some people have tried to put it on them.
Yeah.
And I think that now that they've shown that they can do it, they got a little taste of it, and the Warriors talk about this all the time, and all the champions do. Once you get a taste of success, it's really hard to go back. And the Kings, they ain't going back. They don't want to go back at all. They do not seem like they want to go back.
No, at all. And that's like really the big thing. And I love that you point out De'Aaron, because that's where it starts and that's where it ends. I mean, this team goes as far as De'Aaron Fox will take them. I think we learned that to an extent, or even more to an extent, in that playoff series, seeing how his game rose when, maybe some other guys really struggled along that playoff series. And I think that's really the key is De'Aaron's always kind of been that quiet confident I love that phrasing for him, because that's really what he is. He's not a vocal leader. And I think that's, I don't mean to continue. This summer was way too many De'Aaron Fox to Steph Curry comparisons, but that's really something that I think he could take from Steph Curry, or maybe even has taken from Steph, is you don't always have to be the most vocal guy in the room to be the leader, but just kind of setting the tone and setting the example for the rest of the guys. Not to say, they view themselves as below De'Aaron, but they'll fall in line to an extent. They understand that he's the one that's going to lead them to the ultimate success that they're hoping to get to.
Well, exactly. So let's get to some of and we're going to play multiple pieces of the interviews that you and Whitey did a great job out there. We're going to play them throughout the show, but let's start with, before we get into that, who was your favorite interview?
Oh, I gotta say, I'm not trying to, spread the love too much, but honestly, everybody was really good. I loved.
We can't do it.
I know.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
All right, I'm gonna pick one. I mean, frankly, the interview that I learned the most was honestly Alex Len, and that was shocking to me. I was not, Alex is somebody who, sat the bench, frankly, for a big part of last year, and got thrown into the lineup last minute, and he talked about that. We had not heard how that situation came about. And, I'm sure we're going to play it at some point later today, but he talked about how it really was as crazy as it seemed. It was Alex Len, again, sat the bench for 75 games. And he said Coach Brown walked up to him towards the end of the season and said, "Hey, are you ready to go?" And Alex was like, it depends what we're talking about. I guess.
Right.
And he was just like, cool, because you're going to be playing in the playoffs and you got 5 games to get ready. So use these 5 games well, and we'll see how you're going to look in the playoffs, because you're definitely going to get some minutes. We're going to need you. And that's insane. That does not happen in the NBA. Usually by the 70 game mark, you're well established with your rotation. If anything, you're just throwing guys out there so your main guys don't get hurt. But it was just crazy to hear that that's truly how it went, because that's how it seemed. And he also talked about something that I don't think I've heard before. He said, when I asked him about how you're going to deal with what we'll call the Kevon Looney problem on the boards, he said, "Hey, I've heard that we might shell out 2 big guys this year," which is something that was the ultimate taboo last year. It felt like that was, you can't do that, because that's going to ruin all the offensive spacing. It's going to mess up with the geometry of the floor, and you're going to look like a completely different team. So frankly, I mean, I can't believe it, but yeah, really, Alex Len gave us the biggest gems of yesterday, 100%.
Right, and he was funny. You see the picture? He was throwing up the middle
throwing
finger.
the bird up there.
He was having a good time. And as the old saying goes, you ain't got to get ready if you stay ready.
Exactly.
And that guy stayed ready. And, basketball, as it continues to rotate around. We're going to go small ball. Now we're going to get big again. And now they're just hybrid dudes that are just 6'8", 6'9" for no reason, but they can dribble the basketball. So I think we're going to see a lot of different versions of lineups. And the traditional way of, hey, this is our single lineup for the whole season. I mean, the Warriors, they might have to do it too with Chris Paul, and they're getting smaller by the minute and older by the minute as the rest of the league is doing the opposite. So I just think that it's going to be really interesting to see how teams vary what they do versus this is our team that we're locked in for 82 games and it's not going to change. So I'm happy for the Kings and I'm happy for Alex Len and throughout the season. It can be cold, man. It can be long, and it can be a cold winter on that bench when you see everybody else and they're sweating. You're thinking, I don't even need to wash my jersey. I haven't even played. So I think that it's really important to try to keep the spirits up. And I think it's also a testament to the coaching staff to keep your guys bought in. Again, and I'm trying not to. I'm from the Bay, so obviously I'm going to talk Warriors here. But
No, feel
the
free.
Warriors just had that problem.
Right.
They weren't bought in. Kuminga doesn't want to play.
Right.
Jordan Poole doesn't want to play defense or play at all. They're upset about their playing time.
Yeah.
So if you can get everybody to buy in and be on one accord, I think that's one of the recipes for success, because in this world with the West, where it's superstar here, superstar there, we're just going to cobble them together. What we've seen is that you still need that chemistry, and it seems that the Kings are beginning or continuing to build that chemistry.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any problem bringing up the Warriors, just because, I mean, it'd be ignorant to try and act like there's not so many parallels between the two.
They really are.
Directly from the fact that Mike Brown literally came from their organization, directly from it, and you talk about the buy-in. Mike Brown last year literally had his entire team sign a contract that said, you need to be all in if you're on this team. And I think that
he went Coach Carter on him.
He did. He really, truthfully did go Coach Carter on him, and he was true to it. And I mean, shout out Alex Len, because he was true to it as well. I think you're right to mention that it can be exhausting. I don't think enough people really think about how hard it is to, especially as a veteran in the league. Like, Alex was a number 4 pick. He's been in the NBA for a handful of years now. It's tough to just sit on that bench and realistically not know if your opportunity is ever going to be called. And for him to not get out of shape or not have hurt feelings, which I'm sure he did have, but to get over all of that and still be ready and produce at the level he did, I think, it ultimately didn't lead to them unlocking something in that playoff series, but just the fact that he was ready to go and did give some good minutes and gave the Warriors an interesting look to have to think about for a couple games, I think that's just a huge testament to him, and I think that's a big reason why Monty McNair wasn't afraid to call him back and say, hey, like, I know you kind of got the short end of the stick last year, but we would love to bring you back in, and I think it's big on Alex to also say, yeah, sure, I'll go back to that situation. It's really good, and he feels comfortable in it. So I think it's just a great sign of the team in total. If you're quite literally, if your 14th, 15th man is bought into that level, what does that say about the other guys, or what should be said about the other guys?
Another reason they came back, or a lot of these players wanted to join, unfinished business was the theme. So we got to get to a break. When we get back, we're going to start talking expectations, continuing to talk media day, but also expectations. When we get back, Sactown Sports, 11:40 a.m., Watkins and Stiles. We'll be right back.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
It's time now for the Silver and Black Report, brought to you by ACR Home Services. For all your roofing and solar needs, visit acrhomeservices.com. Another tough one for the Silver and Black, as they are tired of seeing Khalil Mack, who tormented them with 6 sacks of rookie quarterback Aiden O'Connell, who was filling in for the injured Jimmy G. O'Connell battled the team back, but a late pick stopped the comeback, and now the Silver and Black are just 1-3. Up next, they return home for a Monday night game against the Packers. Let ACR Home Services be your one-stop shop for all your home needs, starting with unbeatable roofing services. Right now, get a new roof and receive $1,000 off that roof. So sign up today and save with no payment for up to 12 months. And ACR is more than just a roofing company. Whether it's roofing, solar, electrical work, you name it, when you choose ACR Home Services, you're not just getting a contractor, you're partnering with a team that's invested in your satisfaction. That's ACR Home Services.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
We are back, Sactown Sports. Watkins and Stiles got you until 2 p.m., and we're talking all things Beam Team. I don't even know if I necessarily want to say Beam Team Part 2, because I was thinking about this, and how often is the second installment or the second movie as
sequel?
Good?
It's a great question.
Should we say it differently? I mean, I'm going to throw some at you because we're around the same age here. Did you know they made an Aladdin 2?
Oh. There's
a reason
animated?
for that. Yes.
Aladdin 2?
Yes.
Like not like the...
It was called Jafar's Revenge or something like that.
See, I think I'd heard of that, but I definitely didn't watch it.
There was a Lion King 2 as well.
There was a Lion King 2.5.
There was. Was that Pumbaa's Revenge?
Yeah,
I don't know what
so.
that was, but... So, I don't know if I want to call it the sequel, but we'll just call it the
Can
second.
we call it the Rabeem team? No, that's not.
You can.
That sounds more like they were bad for a year.
Right,
and it's like,
right. Unless they end up playing the Warriors again to redeem themselves. So there you go. There you go. We are off and rolling here as we talk all things Kings and Media Day, and I continue to badger Chris on who his favorite guest was, even though he tried to get out of it. Tried to get out of it, but I'm not going to let you.
I'm going to let you know that's a classic Chris right there.
Okay.
Like that is quintessential me. Fence sitter,
Mm-hmm.
and like I cannot. Incredibly indecisive.
I think we're going to help each other.
Bad boy media. Just incredibly indecisive. Like I can't make my mind up on anything.
Well, I think we're going to help each other because one thing that you'll hear me say is, I believe both things can be true.
Yes.
So together, one of us gotta make some decisions here.
Yeah.
One of us gotta make some decisions here. So we're talking Kings, and one thing that I know that the Kings have decided is they are going to take what happened last season and have it fuel them moving into this season and what the expectations should be. If you want to be a part of the conversation, 916-339-1140. And what are the expectations? All right. Last year, you broke the streak.
Right.
You got into the playoffs. You played well. And I'll tell you this much. When it comes to Game 7, and I'm curious your thoughts on how much the Warriors series was talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was almost a double-edged sword because you had to talk about it because the first time they were in the playoffs in so long.
Right.
But also it felt – I don't think it sounded like they wanted to move forward, but I do think they are really excited to move forward and to get this season underway. Because I'll tell you this much, and I know I'm out here from the Bay, and I'm not trying to butter up the listeners or anything like that. But I'll tell you this much, Chris. I don't think that there is another team that the Kings lose that Game 7 to besides the team that they lost to and the Denver Nuggets. I think they would have beat any other team in that Game 7.
I think that's a common feeling around here. I think a lot of people felt like it was the wrong matchup for that team. I mean, it was quite literally, and I've been saying this for a while, it was a team that was pretty much walking in with about as minimal group experience as you could. I mean, the Kings franchise hadn't been to the playoffs in 16 years. There was only a handful of guys who had even marginal playoff experience against a team that had a surplus of like they could have donated half of their playoff experience to the entire rest of the Western Conference.
Team AARP.
Yeah,
we're calling them right now.
Like it was just the most unfortunate matchup they could have faced, and you throw Steph Curry into that equation as well. It was almost impossible for them to win that Game 7, even, especially looking back at it. Like the Warriors were always going to have the upper hand, and I think it was a good learning experience, and I think that's something that they really you can feel in a lot of the answers from yesterday is a lot of those guys, I think rightfully so, feel like they feel like that's not that series was taken away from them, but they feel like they let an opportunity slide. I think they felt like they understood what the Warriors were going to try and do to them, and they just didn't execute properly. And I think you mentioned that's going to fuel them this year. You can feel that. You can feel that there is unfinished business and some expectations that they want to not just reach but exceed this year.
Yeah, and honestly, it's one of those things where, and De'Aaron Fox even talked about it in one of the post-game interviews, they just got Steph'd.
Yeah.
They got Steph. They didn't even lose to the Warriors. No. They lost to Steph Curry, and that's if you're going to go out, and it's unfortunate for the Kings and the fans, if you're going to go out, at least you went out to arguably a top 10 player of all time.
Yes.
You didn't lose a game that you had no business losing. Right. Maybe they feel like that, but they're supposed to feel like that. No team is going to lose and say, "Oh yeah, they really had us. Yeah. We had no business in that game." So I think everybody is excited in Sacramento. You could tell the vibes. You could tell the swagger of everybody walking around. And speaking of swagger, another one of the interviews, Malik Monk.
Oh, I mean, it jumps off the page.
That dude makes me feel like I need to go out and just get a whole new wardrobe because the way he carries himself, the way he talks, and to be completely honest with you, I saw more of him, and it wasn't just me. I think that it was really a coming out party for him as a sixth man this past playoffs. And, he's one of those guys where you weren't sure who he was going to be after college. And you're thinking, man, I don't think he's a bust, but, You know,
It was.
What is he going to be?
It was super confusing,
You know?
because it was like, what can he do on the floor besides score? And he wasn't scoring in Charlotte really
Right.
to that excellent of a level. And he came to Sacramento, and it was just really, it was a perfect fit. And I think that's really shown, whether it be his connection with De'Aaron Fox and their chemistry, obviously stemming back from Kentucky, or he really learned how to play off of Domantas Sabonis and was really a good pick and roll ball handler. And that part of his game really shined this year. But yeah, I mean, sorry to cut you off.
No.
Malik was just interviewing him, having him in front of you was just, you could feel the energy bouncing off the walls. But even then, like, he's chilling. Like, he's just,
Right.
It's just his constant state. It's just his energy is truly, it's infectious. And you could see how or why all of his teammates just love hanging around him.
Right. Because, you know, somebody like me, I'm kind of excitable. I'm just off the wall sometimes. So I see him and I'm like, man, I wish I was cool.
Yeah.
I wish I could just chill like Malik Monk. But you know what? A little later in the show, or towards the end of the show, we're going to do crossover.
Yeah.
And I got to come at my guy, Whitey. And I like Whitey a lot. No. I got to come at Whitey because Whitey brought up something about Malik Monk being a sixth man.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that? Don't you want him to stay? Do you want there to be some type of argument? Oh man, I need to be starting.
Yeah.
But Whitey, why are you bringing this up?
I know Whitey's trying to cause a rift.
Everybody's
within the
just
team, man.
chilling.
I know. I think it's a question he's been asked a couple times though before, and I don't really, I don't know how this year's going to go for Malik, because me and Whitey throughout our shows these past couple months have been doing a bold Kings prediction of the day every day. And one of my bold predictions was, I think Malik Monk is going to start by the end of the year, because I mean, it's just the reality of the situation. His contract's up, and I don't know if Malik Monk's going to want to sign up to have that label as, okay, this is our sixth man. Like, we would like to believe that, it's all about winning, and this Chris Paul thing has become a huge story. Will he come off the bench? Is it really that big of a deal? If we're being honest here, like, it matters to these guys. They're so prideful. Like, you can say, oh, but he's finishing games. It matters that these guys are starting.
Everybody's got an ego, and a lot of people don't understand that these contracts have very small print things that you might not realize. If you start games, you get paid more. If you eclipse a certain number of points, you get paid more.
Minutes, even.
Minutes. Yeah. So I don't think it's a controversy yet, but if people like Whitey keep throwing out questions, there might be an issue, but a good issue.
Yeah,
right.
No, for sure. It's a great problem to have.
The difference between the Chris Paul situation and Malik Monk is obvious, because you have the Warriors, who have won championship after championship, and Chris Paul's older. You have Malik Monk, who there's going to be somebody at some point in time. I don't know who it's going to be, right? But there's going to be somebody at some point in time that Malik Monk, with that quiet confidence, is going to think, I'm better than this guy. And we all know it, right? And again, might not be a bad problem to have, right? But I think we're kidding ourselves if that dude continues to play like that. That there won't be a controversy at some point.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the facts of the matter. Like, if he plays, to your point, like if he plays like how he did in that playoff series, and a guy like Kevin Huerter, who's capable, we've seen Kevin Huerter, especially through last season,
he was
capable
ice baby though.
But in that playoff series, he was cold, and if that happens for 2 months, and Malik is averaging, 17, 18 points coming off the bench. That's going to be a thing. It's going to be a point of conversation. And, it's just something, again, it's definitely not a good problem to have, but it's still something that's going to have to be addressed, I think, at some point. And I have a really tough time. Now we're talking about it. I have a tough time seeing Malik Monk voluntarily, to an extent, signing up for 2-3 year contract extension if he feels like during that time he'll be coming off the bench. I just think he believes he can go anywhere else. He can test his value in free agency, and I'm sure he thinks that there's a situation out there that'll allow him to start.
Right. Unless they win the whole thing.
Or good success in general. I think second round in a promising future might be enough to entice him. But to your point, I mean, they're going to have to win something.
You have to win the whole thing. You got to get pretty darn far, or you're running into a Jordan Poole situation minus the punch, right? And all I mean by that is a guy who just feels, I want a boogie, I want to get in my bag too, and
get paid
because last time I checked, you get paid a lot more as a starter than a bench player. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Got to get to a break. When we get back, Stiles and Watkins, we are talking, where do the Kings stack up in this loaded Western Conference? Or is it not as loaded as we think? It's Whitey and Watkins with Stiles in for Whitey. 1140 Sactown Sports.
What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers? Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross keep you up to date on all things red and gold during the Niners at 9 every weekday at 9 a.m. on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pages right now.
Thomas's translation company just lost its only 2 Spanish speakers. Without the right replacements, he'll be in problemas.
Yeah, we'll have those ready. Tonight's going to be a late one.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hi, it's Brian Bennett from Bennett's Restaurants in Roseville and Sacramento, and our newest restaurant, Bennett's West Side Grill at Rockland's Blue Oak Town Center on Lone Tree Boulevard. We believe in serving the freshest handcrafted foods in a warm, convivial setting. We offer a great brunch featuring all your favorite plates, eggs Benedict, omelets, stuffed French toast, and much more. Pair the great food with great mimosas, and the weekend fun has just begun. And did you know that our Bubbles and Brunch special featuring any 2 brunch entrees and a bottle of bubbles is just $44 for 2? Having a meeting or large group dinner? Our newest restaurant in Rockland features 3 different event-sized spaces for large group gatherings. 80 guests, no problem. Bennett's Kitchen Bar and Market, Eureka and Lead Hill Roads in Roseville, and Bennett's American Cooking on Fair Oaks and Howe in Sacramento. And our brand new Bennett's Westside Grill at Rockland's Blue Oak Town Center on Lone Tree Boulevard. Find us on the web at bennettsrestaurants.com and book your reservation today. Eat well, stay well, and remember, Bennett's is where you'll always receive a hospitable welcome.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. If you're a small business owner, listen up. Pi Insurance wants to give you one of those aha moments, the kind that could save you money. Workers' comp is probably one of the biggest costs you face. But did you know that insurance providers have flexibility in setting their prices? That's right, but many don't bother giving small businesses the savings you deserve. Instead, you can get lumped in with other businesses and overcharged. Pi Insurance was created to change that. With Pi, you get a quote tailored specifically to your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle and no hidden fees. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. Take 3 minutes to see how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or go to trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own loan report.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. Did you know that a solid poo, it's one of the best indicators of your dog's gut health? We're talking about Supreme Source Super Premium Dog Food, the fastest growing premium dog food in the country. Family owned and operated for 50 years. 6 interchangeable recipes packed with protein and powerful antioxidants. Get it Safeway, Save Mart, Smart and Final. Learn more at SupremeSourcePet.com. Do their digestion a solid, literally.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Good morning, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Today is the first day of Sacramento Kings training camp, and we've got tons of coverage from yesterday's Sacramento Kings Media Day up right now at SactownSports.com and the Sactown Sports YouTube. We've got interviews from Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox, 15 Sacramento Kings players, Monty McNair, and more. In baseball, the playoffs begin today with the wild card rounds. First game is Texas and Tampa Bay, which is going to start at noon. And we've got all 4 wild card series getting started today. Those are your headlines. Reminder, all guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Now let's return to Stiles and Watkins right here on Sactown Sports.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
We are back. Sactown Sports. Stiles and Watkins taking you up to 2 p.m. talking all things Kings. And we'll get into a little bit of Niners later. Just because it makes everybody feel good nowadays.
Exactly.
The Niners are so darn good.
They're ridiculous.
Wanted to throw to you straight off the top, Chris, because the expectations for the Kings are definitely higher. I got something to say because when I look at the Western Conference, clearly it's quote-unquote loaded. But it's loaded with older teams.
Mm-hmm.
And if I were to tell you that there really only, in my opinion, 2 to 3 teams with the ability to get the top seed, and one of those teams would be the Kings, what would you say?
I would say that I would love for that to happen, but I wouldn't. That wouldn't be where I would put my money at.
Really?
If you were telling me to bet, I would not. And maybe a lot of that is probably having to do with the fact that I've just been following this team for too long, and you know that's probably dampening my expectations a lot.
Right.
But I mean, I mean, that's probably really it. Now that I really think about it, it probably really is just due to the fact that knowing this organization, that's just not something that's really been a part of the conversation where, you know, I mean, you could have said that last year and I probably would have also told you the same thing, but it ended up being true. So, you know, realistically, that should be the expectation. This is a team that's bringing back all of the same characters, if not adding a couple really good pieces. I've kind of slowly been changing my tune to maybe just in general, even I think there's been a dampening of expectations here locally from the fans. I think that we might be selling our team a little bit short here. I do truly think that we might be. I don't know if I'm willing to say, you know, top 3 seed or in contention for the top seed, but I do think that there is a little bit of we might have forgotten how good this team really was.
Well, let's take a step back then, because I guess the question is, and this is when you do sports talk, I have a whole list of overused sports terms. Narrative,
cliches,
right, is definitely on the list as well. But I'm going to go here. Ceiling is another one, but I'm going to go here. Window, right?
So that's a big Niners talk.
Need the window, right? So where would you say the Kings are within that window? Because to me, it always feels like the window is either opening or closing. It's never stagnant, right? It's not like my parents' 1995 Toyota when you had to crank it, right? It's either on the way up or it's on the way down. So obviously it's on the way up for the Kings, but if you are unable to lock it down while it's on the way open, next thing you know, it's starting to close.
Right. I would definitely say, I mean, for sure, they're definitely on the opening side of that. I mean, you know, the last year was the first year of success. We think this year will be a continuation of that, hopefully even better than last year. But to your point, I mean, it does feel like traditionally, I mean, even with, you could probably speak to the Warriors. I think that leap is always unexpected.
Yes.
Like no one, that second leap, I should say, like no one sees the Warriors going from a team that's, you know, competing with, you know, the likes of the Clippers year after year after year. And then all of a sudden they go 72 wins or 73 wins and then make the finals. Like, I don't think anybody realistically sees that coming. And there is an argument for that this year for the Kings. Like, again, not a lot of talk. If you just look at the national landscape of things, the Kings are an afterthought. More people are talking about, obviously, what's going on with the Dame situation in Portland and how that affects Phoenix and the Lakers bringing everybody back. The Warriors situation right now. Ja Morant's missing 25 games. Even that's part of the conversation. no one's really talking about the number 3 seed, the team that is bringing back, again, all of the same characters of last year, if not adding a couple really good pieces. And it is intriguing to when you really look at it and you try and take all of the emotions out of it. Realistically, to your point, the Kings have as good of an argument as really anybody else to be the ones that are towards the top of the Western Conference at the end of this year.
I agree, because when I look at the Western Conference right now, okay, you have the 15 teams, and obviously there's only about 2 that I think you got to worry about, right? Or there's only about that you don't have to worry about, and that's the Spurs and then some combination of the Jazz and the Blazers, okay? And the Blazers might actually be a little annoying too.
It could be.
I think a lot of people have some things to say about the Blazers, but in terms of how loaded the teams are, you have the Clippers, who are the Clippers. And the only reason the Clippers might hang around is because they've been resting for the last 2 years, so they might finally be ready to go. You have the Lakers, who LeBron and AD are going to miss time at some point. The Warriors, they're all going to miss time at some point. The Mavs, I don't trust the Mavs. You have the Nuggets, who I would put in the category of they could get the 1 seed. And then the Grizzlies, they're missing Ja. So you look around, and I'm not putting – the Rockets are not going to make any noise, but they will be annoying. Same with the Thunder. So I'm looking around, and I'm thinking every time you close your eyes and you think about the teams in the West – you always forget at least one, because there's so many. And you have the Suns, who the Suns are the one team that I don't necessarily have in the mix because they're putting things together. What we've seen from KD is he's probably going to miss some time at some point. Even Bradley Beal has missed a good amount of time. I don't know. Even Booker. So I don't know if they'll be able to put it together. And we were talking in the green room before the show about the T-Wolves. I mean, the Anthony Edwards hype is real.
It's very real.
Okay,
it's incredibly real.
For as much as people love Anthony Edwards, they hate Karl-Anthony Towns. I don't know what it is.
Rudy Gobert.
And Rudy Gobert. For as likable as Anthony Edwards is, everybody can't stand the rest of them. So I really only see about 3 teams. So you can enter either the Suns, the Lakers, or the T-Wolves for that 3rd team. But the only other 2 I see that are good enough and young enough to care are the Nuggets and the Kings.
The young enough thing is the key too, because we've seen that older teams, they aren't going to give the regular season the same attention. They can't. They don't. Like they are like, we got it. Like, it's fine and dandy if we can get, if we are in an opportunity to get one of those seeds. Absolutely, sure, we'll try and take it. But at the end of the day, our thing is let's make the tournament and let's be as healthy as we possibly can. And the Lakers, you saw it last year. They were the 7 seed. They weren't sweating it. They didn't seem to be an issue for them. So I think that's going to be the calculus that all those kind of teams do moving forward, is using that Lakers example of last year as a model for what they can try and do for these coming seasons.
And and I had a buddy who I would work out with, and this guy was shredded. This guy was yoked. And one thing he always said to me was, whenever you go up in weight, do not go back down. I'm like, well, what about that? No. Don't go back down. He was kind of crazy, but that's what he would always say to me. So
sounds like a lifting guy.
Exactly. He was on some muscle milk. A lot was going on. So every time you get to a certain point, it's really hard to go backwards. And I think that is why when I'm looking at the Kings, they have the drive, they have the talent, and they were just the 3 seed. They don't want to lift less weight. They don't want to drop
Especially
back down.
Not with Mike Brown. He's not going to. Mike Brown's not going to say, "Hey guys, like y'all have proven enough. Like, you can take it easy." No. He's going to dangle that carrot.
So I think that is the one thing driving the Kings. How the season ended last year, kind of a bittersweet, I would say, because I think they were happy with what they did, but
I think so.
They wanted to keep playing. They probably felt like they were a better team than the Warriors, and honestly, they were a better team than the Warriors. I think the Warriors just had the best player on the court, and that's what happened. So now you move forward. Well, how else can we take this next step? We have to either at least be the 3 seed again and get further, or be a higher seed and again get further, because that's the second leap that you talked about was great. Because we've seen the first leap from a lot of teams, and then they disappear.
Timberwolves, you mentioned the Timberwolves.
Haven't been able to get past the second leap. The Blazers couldn't get past the second leap. And as of late, we'll see, they're still young. The Grizzlies. The Grizzlies had their coming out party, and they somehow got the second seed, which is still – that's how you know the Western Conference is old, because the Grizzlies sold the second half of the season and still got the second seed.
Easy,
So I think you put all that stuff into a pot, shout out Guy Fieri, and you're going to be able to say – I think the Kings are at least going to be in the mix.
Yeah, and I mean, to tie it all into yesterday as well, like when I asked a couple guys, like, what's the goal? What are you guys hoping to accomplish? No hesitation. And last year it was, they wanted to win 50 games. They wanted to make the playoff. They wanted to make the playoffs, not the play-in. They wanted to make the playoffs. This year it was not, we want to go back. It was not, we want to go further than we went last year. It was flat out, straight up, no hesitation, championship. We want to win a championship.
Yep.
And when you hear that just so unequivocally from those guys, like, you start to believe it and you start to understand kind of what you're saying, that Mike Brown's going to drive these guys to be as good as humanly possible. Right. And that means having success in the regular season. These guys aren't at a point where they can sit back on what they've accomplished and say, it's okay, we have experience or we know how to attack this. These guys need to still be hungry, and that's something, Malik said yesterday as well, is like, we still view ourselves as the underdogs. We still think that people are overlooking us, and people are going to continue to do that if the Kings show up next season and win 44 games and are a 6 seed. People are going to say, okay, they're good, but I don't think that they're really ever going to be in title contention.
Exactly.
If they want to get into that conversation, they got to make a statement. And to your point, contending for that top seed in the West would definitely be making that statement.
Well, and as you mentioned, Malik Monk, we are going to get to a break here and hear from Malik Monk in that awesome interview that you and Whitey did. And going back to what he spoke about, or what we spoke about in terms of getting that top seed, he was roasting the Warriors, and he was roasting whatever they make fun of and call the Chase Center, because he knows we want to light the beam and we want our games to be in Sacramento. That's all when we get back on Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
Sactown Sports is home to the Kings, Niners, and now the business of sports. Hosted by Kelly Brothers and brought to you by Cap Trust, offering customized, independent financial advice at captrust.com. Join Kelly Brothers, Carmichael, Dave, and Jason as they look at the business of sports every Thursday at 7:40 a.m. You want to know how sports really work? Follow the money with Kelly Brothers from Cap Trust on Sactown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave letting you know Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room and primetime football location, is back. Cap Casino giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game, offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Check it out. Capital Casino. And as always, please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
Back at Media Day, Golden One Center practice facility, Whitey and Watkins, and joining us now is the king of the Kings, Malik Monk.
Right there.
How are you today, Malik?
I like that name right there. I think I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use that as my name. King of Kings. I'm good today, though. I'm good. What about y'all?
Yeah, we're good. We're
What's
good.
up? It's been good.
Welcome back. Another year of Kings basketball. What's the atmosphere like, the mood like, compared to what it was just a year ago when there was a lot less certainty about how all of this was going to fit together?
Oh yeah, it's moving a little smoothly.
Yeah.
Everybody know what we're doing. Everybody's on the same page, so we're just ready to get started.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I saw this summer you, Kevin, and Keegan were golfing a lot. It looked like you guys picked up the bug. No. They've been had the bug. I caught the bug bad. I caught it bad. How's your game looking these days? What's the strong points? What's the weak points? I could chip pretty decent. Okay. I can hit my irons pretty good. I just can't hit the ball off the tee. So sure. I ain't got there yet. So I just
yank it. Do you miss it? Do you slice it?
Sometimes I slice. Sometimes I fade a little too much. And sometimes I just go straight left. So I just use five or 4-iron off the tee.
Oh, okay.
Hit it like 220 and I'll be all right.
Yeah.
Easy, something light. Yeah. Is there any like transferable skills you feel like from golf and basketball, like whether it be touch. Patience, Really? touch? Yeah, just touch. Yeah. With the putting and chipping. Yeah.
Interesting. That's why he's a good chipper.
Yeah. Then I think it just mentally,
right.
it just makes your mental weight stronger. Sure.
Yeah. Malik Monk is with us. Who is, let me ask you a silly one. Of all your teammates, who is the most likely, or yourself included on this team, who's the most likely to get Taylor Swift to come to a Kings game?
Probably me for sure. No hesitation. Absolutely no hesitation. Probably me for sure.
Yeah. How's that coming?
I ain't tried it. Yeah, I gotta wait till Travis now. What was it like? I know, speaking of, New York, Taylor was out in New York yesterday. What was it like for you to head out to Fashion Week? Oh, Fashion Week was it was a little crazy, but I liked it, man. I liked it. Yeah. A crazy experience. Is that something you always wanted to do? Yeah, exactly. I've been wanting to do it for a minute, but I wasn't ready mentally because it was a lot of people. Mm-hmm. It's a lot to deal with, especially if you're not ready for it. But yeah, it was a great experience for me. You hoping to one day get into fashion design? Yeah, I want to make pants. Yeah, just like natural, all different type of all terrain hunting pants. Ooh, okay. Yeah. Wouldn't expect that. All right.
Wow. All right. Yeah, Malik Monk with us. One thing that some of us learned about you last year, I learned, you already knew it, of course, was your playmaking skills.
Mm-hmm.
But you play like a guy that is showing everyone, I'm better than you think I am, and I'm going to show you that
every time.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah,
you
did that in the playoffs, especially last year, right?
Yes, sir. A lot of people didn't know that because I came into the league just being a scorer, and finally came to Sac. Monty, Wes, Vivek, and Mike let me be me, and everybody can see what I can do now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, not only was last year the first year the Kings were in the playoffs, but it was also your first experience in the playoffs. How did your expectations of what the playoffs would be like mix with the reality of what it was? It exceeded it, man. I thought it was going to be way less than what it was.
Uh-huh. Was that the crowd or the intensity?
Yeah, because Golden State crowd was terrible. Man, you said it. You said it, man. Yeah, that crowd was terrible. That's why I was like, it was disappointing for sure. Then we come back to here and you can't hear yourself talk on the court. And but yeah, man, I loved it. We're gonna get back there this year. That feeling is great being in the postseason. Saying you playing in the postseason and just going out there and playing in front of all your fans and all your family. So yeah, I love that feeling.
Yeah. One of the things we've talked about a lot today with different people is that the Kings now have, seems like there's a culture, which is just everyone seems to know what you're doing. And I think a big part of that is the attitude that you bring, which is basically, we don't care what you think.
Yeah,
we're doing what we do best.
Yeah,
would you agree that that's
I think that Mike brought that too. Then I think me coming off the bench with the second unit, bringing a different look from the first unit shows the same thing. So yeah, I think that's what I take pride in, telling everybody we don't care. We just gonna be here and we're gonna probably outwork it.
Yeah. You remind me in some ways when Bobby Jackson was here, he was a great six man,
Exactly.
and he played like I should be starting, but I'm not. But okay, I'll make the best of this. Is that kind of the thing?
Yeah, but so it's all good. We all just trying to win, and if we all win, everybody wins. So
That's all I'm doing.
You kind of infamously last year set things off in that Clipper game, or after that Clipper game, when you said, we're here too, people got to play us.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still feel like after this offseason, I mean, there's been tons of moves, tons of people talking about other teams, not much talk.
Yeah, they ain't talking about us.
Yeah, you guys still feel like you're the underdog? You still feel like you guys got the chip on your shoulder?
We the underdog, but people want to beat us.
Yeah.
So I think we the underdog to all the analysts and all those guys, but people in the NBA, they know we here. And they know it's going to be a hard game when they come in here, or we come there to play them. So keep sleeping on us, though. Yeah. I like it. I love it.
Malik Monk, our guest here, Media Day. What do you think is an area in which your team needs to improve and will improve this year?
Defensively. Yeah, we just got to lock in defensively. And
because you guys at times on the road played really
exactly.
good.
We did. Then we come back home, and it all goes out the window. But, yeah, man, that's just us being human. I think that's all it is, and us just trying to see what'll work for us. And we just tried to outscore everybody last year, and it worked a little bit for us, but obviously it didn't work in the playoffs, and I think all of us see it now. So we're going to come in and lock in on the defensive end.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people describe Sacramento's fandom like a college sports team.
It's definitely like
yeah. Well, how would you describe it?
Just like that. Just like
Kentucky,
when I was at Kentucky. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
1,000%, man. Because what else around here?
Right.
Besides.
And how does that differ from? I mean, we got you from the Lakers. How does it kind of differ from that kind of fandom where it's almost like everybody talks about?
It's a lot of bandwagon Laker fans.
Sure.
And
we
the
know
Sac,
about that.
Yeah, exactly. And the Sac fans, they're here from 2000.
Yeah.
You feel me? So it's real love,
yeah.
man. It's real love coming from Sac. Yeah, but I love it.
Malik Monk, we appreciate your time very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your time. Yeah, best of luck
Appreciate
this
you, man.
year.
Good luck.
Yeah. Yeah. The king of the kings.
King of the kings.
Yeah.
Man.
There you have it. Watkins' favorite interview.
I completely had forgotten that he roasted the Warriors crowd.
Yeah.
That had just completely slipped my mind, and I love the fact that he did it, and he did it so unapologetically because he was right. Like, that was really my initial thought heading into Game 3.
Right.
We had just been through Games 1 and 2, obviously, in Sacramento. Life-changing experience. I think everybody will describe those two games as just unique. And then going into Chase Center, you hear about, as the Kings weren't in the playoffs, Roracle's a thing, and oh my God, these Warrior fans are just insane, ridiculous, loudest crowd, loudest arena. And then we get there for Game 3, and half the people aren't in the seats because I think that game started at 3:00 or 4 or 5 or something, and you know how Bay Area traffic goes.
Yes. So even when you try,
exactly, you can't beat it. And so, I mean, I had completely forgotten that he roasted the crowd correctly because they were real quiet.
So I got into a little bit of trouble during the playoffs because my feeling was when I hopped onto X or Twitter or whatever we feel like calling it, because my feeling was, and we talked a little bit about this. Well, it was the first round, right? And if you're a Warrior fan, look, I do think part of that is some of those tickets are not bought by fans or whatever the case is. But you cannot compare the drought to the Warriors who had just been in the final. So that was the only thing.
Fourth time.
For the fourth time. So that was the only thing I had to say that it should have been louder in Sac. It should have been louder, and it was.
Yeah.
And it was. But no, that was good stuff by Malik Monk, who may or may not cause some controversies later in this season when it's going to be really hard to keep him off the bench. And we were playing with some lineup ideas of maybe I said, well, Harrison Barnes, and Chris goes to me and says, I've been trying to get Harrison Barnes on the bench for a while. I call him HB, Harrison Bench. That's where he needs to be. And all of a sudden, maybe you move Herter, or
Herter can play the 3, play Keegan at the 4.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's definitely something, especially once Harrison signed his extension this offseason, or his new contract, I should say, this offseason. Something that crossed my mind because his money isn't that of, we saw Kyle Kuzma make $20+ million.
Right.
We saw Jeremy Grant make $35+ million.
Insane.
HB's at like 17 or 16 or 18 or something like that. And I was like, I mean, that's not a crazy number to bring off the bench,
No.
And it doesn't have to be this year. It could be next year. It could be later in the season. But I don't know. Just something that crossed my mind.
Well, and the thing about Harrison Barnes is he is the guy who it's a little confusing because you'll watch and you'll forget that he's playing.
Yes.
No disrespect.
No,
But
there's
then
a
he'll
couple
have
guys who fit in
15.
that group, though.
But then he'll
Yeah.
have 15
Mhm.
and a couple rebounds and a couple nice assists. He's steady Eddie. But the question is ultimately going to be, and he's no spring chicken either. He's been around the league for a while. He came in pretty young, but he isn't the youngest guy on that team.
Yeah.
The question is, hey, Harrison, we love what you did. We still value you, right? And think you can help this team, but the way we play, the way we're trying to go, it just might make more sense here.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. I know everybody does have an ego, but in terms of the levels of egos, feels like his is pretty low.
Very low.
He's had a pretty good run, man.
Very
he got
low.
his championship. He got cashed out multiple times. Just kick in and be the old wily vet. Why not?
Right. No, absolutely. I think that's kind of the destiny for HB. Like he is, you mentioned he's a terrific team guy. Like he really does take care of his business, ultimate professional. All the cliches you want to throw out there, they fit Harrison Barnes to a T. But to your point, like he's somebody who a lot of time buckets go quiet, rebounds go quiet. You don't really notice him on the defensive end. Yeah, he does a lot of the little things and the dirty work, but a lot of the time it's like Harrison, like my bigger problem for him is in moments where the Kings are really struggling, especially in that playoff series, you should look at that guy who's been there, done that.
Yes.
And he should be able to recognize the situation and kind of elevate his game. And more times than not, he rarely ever did.
He ain't gonna bail you out.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what?
Exactly.
The Warriors have struggled with the same thing with Andrew Wiggins.
I think that
You
there's
know what I mean?
Wiggins is in that category to me. Tobias Harris is in that
But
category.
Wiggins has done it, and you need Harrison Barnes to do it. All right, we got to get to a break. When we get back, we're taking a mini Kings break. We're going to talk to Chris Biederman of the Candlestick Chronicles, but he was also at Media Day, so we'll get his take on King stuff as well. It's Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Has Monty put together a roster that can help make a deep playoff run this season?
Just trying to give coach options, give him guys that can help us win in a variety of areas. Obviously, our top guys are going to play every game, but there's going to be other times, whether it's injuries, matchups, we've got to have some variety on the bench for coach to point to and say, go in there and help us win.
Tune into every Kings game this season
on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Model year end pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the model year end event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
For a business to thrive, there needs to be a constant stream of new customers. This happens through strong lead generation. Did you know that lead generation is one of the most important tools of any marketing campaign? Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products and services to them. To get started today, contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results today.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary. Subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas. Actual Pi customer.
As a small business, we're always looking for ways that we can offer the quality product and get some cost savings.
Meet Michelle from J.J. Pfister Distilling Company, a small business in California. When looking for workers' comp coverage tailored to the company's needs, she discovered Pi Insurance.
We heard about Pi Insurance being geared for a small business, gave Pi a call, and ended up switching.
Is your small business overpaying for workers' comp insurance? See how much you could save at trypi.com. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate, so your workers' comp audit experience is simplified.
We saved about 30% off of our workers' comp insurance when we switched to Pi.
It's as easy as pie to get the savings you deserve. What are you waiting for? Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote in 3 minutes at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Guys, Revive Men's Health Sacramento is making you this guarantee. We will improve the medical condition of your ED or low T, or we'll give you your money back. Book your free appointment today. Call 916-277-8599 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Good morning, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Today is the first day of Sacramento Kings training camp, and we've got tons of coverage from yesterday's Kings Media Day up right now at SactownSports.com and the Sactown Sports YouTube. Joining us right now from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline, Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop, is Chris Biederman of the Sacramento Bee.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
We are back, Sactown Sports with Stiles and Watkins. And thank you, Kyle. We are joined by Chris Biederman of the Sactown Bee and Candlestick Chronicle. What's up, Chris? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Great. We're good. So, Chris, I'm just going to ask you straight off top because I don't know where you stand. I know you do a show with my guy, Kyle Madsen. I don't know where you stand. It's Super Bowl or bust. Yes or no? It has to be for the Niners. It has to be.
Yeah, I would think it has to be. I would think it has to be at this point based on how well they've played, based on the roster construction, based on how well Brock Purdy's played. He seems to be getting better and sort of doing everything Kyle Shanahan wants in a quarterback for the first time really since he's taken over as head coach in 2017. So, yeah, I think the way they've played and given how they look, particularly relative to the rest of the NFC, they should be in that mode that, it's Super Bowl or bust. And I think if you were to ask them, to a man in the locker room, I think that's what they would say as well. So, yeah, I'm with you. I'm at the point where it's Super Bowl or bust. Before the season, I was like, yeah, you can still have a good year without winning the Super Bowl. But based on how well they've played, I'm of the mind that they got to win it this year.
Chris, now maybe I'm late to the party, but Sunday was the first time for me where it felt undeniable that Christian McCaffrey is the best player in the NFL. And that's even, I think even including Patrick Mahomes, like just the way he's playing right now, it feels like he's head and shoulders above everyone else. And he's kind of launched himself into that MVP conversation. What do you think it would take for McCaffrey to truly get consideration for MVP at the season's end?
Man, the bar is so high for MVP when it comes to non-quarterbacks, right? I don't know all the history off the top of my head, but I think you would have to have something like 20 plus touchdowns and 1,000 yards receiving, and in addition to obviously 1,000 yards rushing at least. He's in rare air right now. I think he can break Jerry Rice's all-time record with touchdowns in 14 consecutive games if he scores one against the Cowboys. And the Niners haven't lost a regular season game since the Christian McCaffrey trade, which is pretty wild to think about. And he just sort of unlocks everything they want to do offensively, right? Like even the touchdown he scored on the pass to Brock Purdy's left in the first half of the game on Sunday, that was like a check down option, right? And you have like, as good as McCaffrey is as a primary weapon, he's also probably the best check down option in the league when you go through all your reads and then all of a sudden, oh, nobody's open, but I do have Christian McCaffrey matched up against a linebacker. Bam, 6 points. That's quite the luxury for a team to have that already has a slew of really talented playmakers on the outside. So yeah, I'm with you. Like he can be in the running, but to be honest, it would probably take a down year from all the top quarterbacks for him to win MVP. But I absolutely think, like, we see it all the time where the best quarterback in the league wins MVP, but then a player like McCaffrey or running back wins offensive player of the year.
Right.
If he has like a 20 touchdown season and the 49ers are the number 1 seed, I think he would have to be a lock for consideration at least, and probably the betting favorite for offensive player of the year if he's not MVP. But no, if he keeps this up, he absolutely has to be in the discussion, but it is pretty difficult for non-quarterbacks to win that award.
Yeah.
We are talking to Chris Biederman of the Candlestick Chronicle and the Sacramento Bee. Chris, my question to you is this: is Brock Purdy finally beating the dink and dunk allegations?
Yeah, I mean, I think even last year he was better than sort of what the narrative was about him. I think, when it comes to the punditry and media people, a lot of people just sort of assume that Kyle Shanahan just wants a point and shoot quarterback, right? And somebody who can just run his offense. But I think if you watch him play closely, and particularly if you listen to people who really know quarterback play, they will tell you that Brock Purdy is it's not just a point and shoot thing with him. He's playing at an extremely high level, right? Like, both things can be true. You can be in a great system, you can have great playmakers to throw the ball to, but you can also play at a really high level within those confines, right? So I think Brock Purdy is, and all the numbers would certainly back that up. All the numbers sort of independent of his playmakers would indicate that he's playing at a really high level. And yeah, he benefits from being in Kyle Shanahan's offense and having Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel and George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey, obviously. No question about it, but he is playing at a really high level. And I think ultimately that's what raises a 49ers ceiling. When you think about, potentially making a long run through the playoffs, there might be a scenario where, your defense isn't playing great and you need a quarterback to go get you 30 points. Well, the 49ers have scored just about 30 points or more in just about every game Brock Purdy's played, right? With the exception of the Dallas playoff game last year, obviously the Eagles game, which he got hurt in early on in the NFC title game. So like there's, the Niners are scoring a ton of points with Brock Purdy. The offense is playing at an efficient level that we haven't seen before. And obviously Christian McCaffrey has a lot to do with that, but I think Brock Purdy deserves a lot of credit and he's playing at a really high level. And if you go through just all the numbers, he's basically top 5 in all of the efficiency metrics. And really the only number where he's like outside the top 10 is just overall yardage. But you look at pass attempts and just all the efficiency numbers. I don't want to go through them and bore your listeners with that, but he's playing like a legitimate top 10 quarterback. I'm not saying he necessarily is, because there might be a talent gap between him and some of the other guys. But in terms of playing the position and what you want your quarterback to do, Brock Purdy's playing at a super high level right now.
Chris, when you look at some of the numbers for Nick Bosa, I mean, if you just look at his sack total, it looks like he's off to a slow start after signing his contract. But if you look at some of the advanced numbers, like, pressures and win rate and stuff like that, it says almost the complete opposite. Where do you feel like, or which numbers do you feel like better represent the season that he's having right now?
Yeah, I think the overall pressures is a pretty good barometer. And it looked like, I thought on Sunday against Arizona, that was the closest thing to defensive player of the year, Nick Bosa, we've seen so far this year. I think, if you were to talk to him and ask him about the first 3 weeks of the season, there was an element of rust, an element of getting into football shape, right? And you have 2 games after missing the entirety of training camp and not getting any of those reps, and being in Florida and just working on pass rushing drills is obviously dramatically different than going against Trent Williams for 15 plays an afternoon in practice, right? So he was still knocking some rust off, getting into football shape. And then, third game of the season, you have a short turnaround on a Thursday. It would be pretty difficult to recover in time and optimize yourself for that game. But with the extended time off ahead of Sunday's game against Arizona, Nick Bosa was a real menace in that game. And that's what the 49ers expect. That's what he was last year. And as long as he stays healthy, I would fully expect him to continue to build on that and get better and better as the season goes on, because that's just the type of player he is. And I think he's finally rounding into shape. But in terms of like the numbers you look for, yeah, pressure is absolutely. There's an element of luck when it comes to sacks. Not all sacks are created equal. Obviously, there are coverage elements to it. Drake Jackson had 3 sacks in the season opener, and at least 2 of them looked like coverage sacks, or Kenny Pickett just not getting rid of the ball, right? So sacks can be a little bit misleading, but I think, when it comes to down in and down out, Nick Bosa is still impacting the game at a really high level, whether the sack numbers are there or not.
We are talking to Chris Biederman, Candlestick Chronicle, and the Sacramento Bee. Chris, you were also at Kings Media Day. Let's switch gears here a little bit. What was your biggest takeaway from Kings Media Day?
Yeah, Monty McNair said it. He was the first availability we had in the scrums, and he said, the words, "We want to ascend to, quote unquote championship contention." And De'Aaron Fox echoed that later, said our goal is to ultimately win a championship. And I've only been living in Sacramento for a few years now, but I feel pretty comfortable saying that championship aspirations are not something typical of Kings Media Day, right? Yeah. So I think that's a pretty substantial takeaway for me. And just, hearing Mike Brown talk about the difficulty in going from good to great, his point, and he even said it a lot last year, was that, it's easier to go from bad to good than it is from good to great. And for the Kings to go from a team that was a 3 seed and exited in the first round against the Warriors to championship contention, they're going to have to go from good to great. And for De'Aaron Fox, I asked him, like, what's that look like for you in terms of you taking the next step and going from, an all NBA type player to like a real MVP candidate. And his thing was consistency. Like, he needs to do it every day. And that's what greatness is being able to do it every day. Because I think that's been a fair criticism of De'Aaron Fox. Even last year, there were moments where it just felt like, De'Aaron Fox on a Tuesday against, some no-name team is probably not playing at the level that you need him to play. And not even last year, maybe going back further than that, but and Mike Brown said it at the end of the season last year too. The next step for Fox is playing at a championship level, or bringing that championship mentality day in and day out, whether it's practice, shoot around, a game on a Tuesday in December, right? So that's going to be the difference. Like, can the Kings lift their standard? You remember how many disappointing losses they had at home to sort of subpar teams last year, or teams they definitely should have beaten. And that was sort of an underlying theme last year too. Like, if they can avoid that and raise their caliber, raise their level of intensity and what their standard is, they're gonna be in that championship mix. I think they're talented enough. They added some depth this offseason. If they stay healthy like they did last year, and if De'Aaron Fox ascends and Domantas Sabonis learns from the Warriors series, all these things would point to them being a better team this year. But obviously, every season's different. Not the progress is not always a straight line, so it's going to be really difficult. They're not going to sneak up on anybody this year. But the main takeaway is the Kings overall are raising that standard. Like, yeah, they wanted to break through and get to the playoffs last year. That was their main goal, but now their goals are much higher, and they want to get to championship contention. And it's going to be really difficult because the West is really crowded and really good, but that's why we love the NBA.
Thanks for that. That was Chris Biederman. Chris, we know we can find you, the Candlestick Chronicles, and also the Sacramento Bee. Thank you for the work that you do. And next time you see my guy Kyle, tell him Allen says what's up.
I will. I'll tell him what's up. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me.
Appreciate you, Chris.
Thanks so much. That was Chris Biederman, Candlestick Chronicle, and Sacramento Bee. We got to get to a break. Stiles and Watkins, when we get back, we've been real positive here. But I'm starting to feel good a little bit. I'm starting to show more of my personality, and I'm coming at the Brock Stars. I got something to say about Brock Purdy fans that I should be calling you Niner fans, but I'm purposely calling you Brock Stars, Brock Purdy fans for a reason. That's all that and more when we get back. Stiles and Watkins, Sac Sports.
Your new home for 49ers football in the 916. Sactown Sports.
This season, your coffee orders are getting warmer and your outfits are getting cozier. The world keeps changing, and so does COVID-19. That's why this season's COVID-19 shots have been updated. They're one of the best ways to help protect yourself against COVID-19. You can get a COVID-19 shot at the same visit as a flu shot if you're due for both, as recommended by the CDC. Talk to your healthcare provider to learn more and schedule at vaccines.gov. And don't forget to get extra cinnamon spice. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own report.
Your new home for 49ers football in the 916. Sactown Sports.
We are back. Thanks again to Chris Biederman of the Candlestick Chronicles and Sacramento Bee, Stiles and Watkins. Talking Niners, talking Kings. And yeah, I got a bone to pick because, look, man, we're still getting to know each other here. And, you know, I got into some things with some Niner fans earlier this year. And I was known as a Trey Lance guy, but I was never a Trey Lance guy.
Okay.
I was never a Trey Lance guy. I believed that Trey Lance got a tough deal, but I also said, such is life, right? That just is what it is.
Yep.
But it's always been interesting to me how, if you are a Niner fan, because I never said Trey Lance was better than Brock Purdy. I didn't believe he ever was, right? But because you wish things went differently with Trey Lance, you got thrown into a pile of you don't like Brock Purdy, which is not true.
Right.
I like Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
And we're doing this thing now, Niner fans are, where the victory laps for all the people that just decided, oh, well, Brock Purdy, he's our guy after, 8 games, right? Hey, he's our guy. You don't know what he's your guy for, because I don't think anybody even saw this coming. I don't care. I know he looked good.
Yeah.
We didn't know if it was a Jeremy Lin run. We didn't know what it was. We didn't know what it was. But now it's crazy to me because so many Niner fans, they wanted us to all be on the same page, be on one accord.
Yeah.
Hey, we don't care who it is. We just want our quarterback, and whoever's catching or throwing the football, just root for them. But now I go on social media and every day it's, remember when you guys wanted Trey Lance?
Yeah.
Remember? Enough. Yeah. I thought this was what you wanted.
Right.
But you spend so much time talking about when things weren't great.
Right.
It's almost, do you care more about Brock playing well or you being right? Yes. That's what it's turning into.
It's being right.
Every time it's, hey, I guess he's beating the dink and dunk guy. I guess he's beating this. I guess he's beating that. He is playing at an extremely high level.
Right.
Everybody agrees with that now.
Right.
Stop acting like you saw this coming.
Right.
Because you didn't.
Because you didn't.
You didn't.
There's no way.
Nobody did.
No. I think everyone was hoping for, Alex Smith level of just quarterback competence. I think that's what everyone was hoping for. And to Brock's credit, he's exceeded it. But to your point, let's not act like everyone saw this coming.
Exactly.
And shout out Brock because he put in the I don't know how he's doing. I still don't know how he's doing it because he didn't have an offseason of being able to, throw to receivers and get better. He was rehabbing during the summer. So, I kind of thought it was going to be a lot of the same, but he's been great. He has really been great. But you're right, the victory lap that has happened with just rubbing it in everyone's face of, oh, I told you this guy would be good at.
Yeah.
When, frankly, look, Brock's been fantastic. Great. He has not had really a down game or a terrible. We have not seen him have a game like Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen had earlier in this season.
The Giants game was,
it wasn't great. It wasn't great. He had some really bad overthrows, which it put me on alert. But it's also only been a month.
Yes.
I feel like we shouldn't get too far ahead of ourselves. It's been great. It has been incredibly impressive. You can't take away anything he's done this season, but it's also a very small sample size. We are still in the first month of the season. Week 4 just ended. There's a lot of time still for an inevitability of Brock's going to have a bad game.
He is.
And how is he going? To me, it's not how things are going when it's great. You mentioned Jeremy Lin, even guys like Baker Mayfield look fantastic. When things are going well, it's like, oh, okay, I see what everyone saw in this guy. But what happens when things start to go bad? Or what happens when Brock's just okay? How does he respond to that? How do the Niners respond? How does the locker room respond? To me, that's where he's really, really tested. And that's when, if he can make it to the other side of that, then you can do your victory lap.
But what's crazy to me is I don't even know when the Niners are going to be tested because the team is so good. But when I say that, I get called a Brock hater. So you can't have it both ways. You can't have it. You know who Brock Purdy reminds me of? So again, still getting to know each other. I grew up in Concord, California. I went to De La Salle. So I'm a private school kid.
Same.
So you know those kids that grew up with really wealthy families, right?
Yes.
Okay, so there are kids that grew up in really wealthy families, right? And if you need a tutor, if you're struggling, we'll get you a tutor. If you want to train, we'll get you somebody to train. We still saw those kids some of those kids mess up.
Yes.
We saw some of those kids take advantage.
Yeah.
We saw some of those kids mess up.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy is the kid born into a wealthy family that's taking advantage.
Wow.
It doesn't mean that we haven't seen kids not perform or not do well. He is doing it, but us not acknowledging that he's from a wealthy family. Meanwhile, you got Trevor Lawrence, who not so much.
Right. He's slumming it over there, but he's making it.
He's 8 Mile. Yeah. He's 8 Mile. He's on the other side of the tracks.
What does that make Urban Meyer in this equation?
Eminem stepdad? I don't know what it makes. It's not great. It's not great. So
I love this example so much.
There's nothing.
I don't think I've heard something better.
I am not hating on Brock, but you
got to acknowledge the circumstances.
We can't have Chris Biederman on and talk about the possibility. We're going to get into it more about Christian McCaffrey being a possible non-QB MVP, but then say, well, Brock is this, Brock is that, and I think that's Chris said it best. Brock is playing top 10 right now.
Yes, he is.
I can't find
undeniable.
I can't find 10 other quarterbacks better than Brock right now.
No.
Right now.
Yep.
Okay. And that's where we're going to put it. Ultimately, you can't do all this. And I don't like when people say all that, but then it's not Super Bowl or bust.
Mm-hmm.
If it's all this, if it's a top 5 defense, they're ranked number 1 defense right now, right? The offense has got to be ranked just as high, somewhere up there. So if it's all these different things, you got to bring home number 6. 100%. I don't want to hear about anything else.
I'm right there with you. Like I think, especially with how this season is set up, you asked Chris about it. He was very like it's Super Bowl or bust.
Yeah.
Like with everything going towards going in the right direction right now. I mean, you're finding minor hiccups, Debo's injury, and Ayuk had to miss a week or two. But as long as your core is as long as you got 2 or 3 of those pieces.
That's how many all pros they need. They got
crazy.
They got the Avengers, right? Or Thanos. They got all the different stones. Oh, Ayuk's out. Okay, but we got Debo. Oh, Debo's out. Okay, we got McCaffrey.
We got Kittle.
We got Kittle.
We don't even talk about Kittle anymore.
Kittle is just an offensive tackle at this point because they don't need him. This is crazy to me. So all these fans are just bored because the Niners are playing so well. So now they're just going to pull up receipts based on when we didn't know that Brock was going to play like this.
Right.
And anybody who says that they know that Brock is going to play like this, because this is better than last season to me.
Yes,
specifically last game, you only had 1 incompletion.
Right.
They're the people that when you go to a baseball game, they call home run every single time. And then when it finally happens,
they're like,
told you.
Called it.
Hey, I called it, man.
Hey, man.
I called it. These are the same people. And I think the big reason, to kind of tie a bow on this, the big reason.
This is great. No, this is fantastic.
The big reason I don't understand the victory lapping is because those people were the same people, I would assume, that were victory lapping when it was Jimmy G all those years ago, balling out and turned into, and he was Jimmy Jesus.
Yes,
right? We've seen this.
Jimmy Guwop, or whatever they were calling him. Yeah.
Drip Jimmy.
Yeah, all of it.
We've seen this before.
Yeah.
So if anybody has some cause to pause and didn't want to, hey, I don't want to say anything too much, for you to come at them, right? And also, those same people, you be annoyed with them because they were hoping that the 3rd overall pick from their team panned out, doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah. And my thing about this whole conversation, too, is it's great. Again, it's undeniable that Brock Purdy is playing fantastic football right now. Top 10, unquestionably.
Yeah.
But has anyone really changed their mind long-term? Like, has what we've seen in this last month, has that changed drastically how you feel Brock Purdy's going to be 2 or 3 years from now?
Is
he truly a franchise? Because I still haven't. I think there's a lot of 49er fans who have gone to that extreme. But for them, I mean, as someone who's still an observer from the outside, like I haven't changed my tune there. I still have not seen enough to be like, this guy is somebody who undeniably don't even look at the position, don't even look to address it. I haven't seen that yet.
Well,
he's been great. He's been great.
I will say this. The game where there was no Ayuk.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
and they balled, and he still balled out.
Yeah.
Now, some of that was Debo being Debo and McCaffrey being McCaffrey. That made me think, because where I'm going with this is eventually they're not going to be able to pay everyone, right? And it's funny to me that they weren't going to be able to pay everyone, and then they paid Nick Bosa, and then the next thing you saw was they're going to be able to keep everyone. Because I mean, I'm
$40
like,
million in cap space.
Did we just spend the last couple of months thinking, oh, is it going to be Ayuk or Debo? Who's it going to be? So I think that, to your point, he's the guy for the next 5-10 years if they keep this roster.
Right.
if they don't keep this roster and if they don't have a top 5 defense and if they don't have the Avengers offensively,
or if they start paying him. I mean, if Brock's going to get paid eventually, that's gonna cause some casualties.
Exactly.
And to your point, if that causes casualties, like, okay, we can't have Debo, we can't have McCaffrey, we can't have Kittle, we can't have Ayu, we can't have them all. We got to get rid of 2 of them. Well, then that's more pressure on Brock to elevate his game and elevate other players.
That's what you're paying him for then at that point.
Is he there, though? Is he? I mean, to me, that's where I still need to see Brock. And Brock was, again, this is probably not the right time to be having this conversation after he sets a career high for passing yards and then goes, 20 of 21 or whatever. He is balling. This is not the right time to have this conversation. But I think the next step is, where can this guy elevate this team? Is there going to be a game where their backs are to the rope and Brock elevates them or makes a play on 3rd and 15, whatever, 3rd down to win the game? Can he truly elevate himself from this game manager conversation to, okay, no, this guy is just a quarterback in the NFL that is doing what every other quarterback is being asked to do?
What's insane is that the Niners could win number 6.
Yeah.
And we still might not have that answer.
Yes, 100%.
We still might not have that answer. That's how dominant they look right now. All right, we got to get to a break. Stiles and Watkins, when we get back, more Niner talk. When will the Niners actually get challenged? Will it be this weekend? I don't know. I don't really think so. It's Sactown Sports. We'll be right back.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award? Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Imagine it's the last ride, but your symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, are taking you for a ride. What should you do? Keep managing your constipation with belly pain the same old way? Or try getting ahead of your symptoms by talking to your doctor about treating it with Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
The City of Sacramento offers grass conversion rebates to help you replace your thirsty lawn with a naturally water-efficient landscape. Whether you own a home or business in Sacramento, you may be eligible. Learn more at sacwaterwise.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
It's no secret to golf enthusiasts that Timber Creek and Sierra Pines in Roseville are one of the region's most unique and scenic places to enjoy a great game of golf. 27 holes, boundless options. Elevate your game on our newly renovated driving range, putting green, and chipping area. Whether you're aiming for fun, lower scores, or all-around growth, we've got you covered. Experience golfing dreams in Roseville and book your tee time at timbercreekgc.com. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines, your ultimate golf haven.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Good morning, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Today is the first day of Sacramento Kings training camp. We've got tons of coverage for you from yesterday's media day up right now at SactownSports.com and the Sactown Sports YouTube. Interviews from Keegan Murray, we got it. Domantas Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox, it's there. All 15 Sacramento Kings players, Monty McNair, and more. You can listen to it at SactownSports.com. In baseball, the playoffs begin today with the wild card rounds. In a half hour, Texas and Tampa Bay are going to begin Game 1. Blue Jays play the Twins. Diamondbacks are against the Brewers, and the Miami Marlins play the Philadelphia Phillies. All Game 1s today. Those are your headlines. Let's return to more of Stiles and Watkins right here on Sactown Sports.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
We are back, Sactown Sports. Stiles and Watkins taking you up to 2 p.m. I had to get that off my chest last segment. Maybe we'll get back to it for you Brock stars out there. We love you. We really do. We really do. Just be more accepting and enjoy the fun of the Niners right now. You don't got to pull up receipts. You don't got a victory lap. You've done it enough. It's a long season. Give us a break here.
Just a little bit.
At least get through the Cowboys. If you get through the Cowboys, I'll be like, okay, you know what? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. All right. Going around the league, NBA Media Day.
Yeah. It was a fun one.
What stuck out to you? I mean, I got to start here.
My goodness.
Jimmy Butler.
That's where we start. That's got to be where we start.
What are we doing, man?
He's trying. It's like his goal is to make Adam Silver make a rule to make this not fun anymore.
Yes.
That's where it feels like this is headed.
But what would you even say?
That's what I was trying to figure out all yesterday. I was like, I know the NBA is going to do something to try and fix this. This is now the second straight year where Jimmy last year wasn't as obvious of a meme opportunity. I guess he just had the extended locks and he shaved his mustache, so he looked funny. Didn't look like the Jimmy Butler we all know, but this year he's that kid who you give him a little bit and you don't check, you give him a little bit of leeway, you don't check him, and then he just goes he takes it all the way further than it needs to go. The hair yesterday,
I think it was his hair though, right?
That's the thing too, is I swear it was a wig. And then I saw him walk up to the podium and I was like, oh, that thing's on his head.
No.
Like, he just straightened his hair.
But he also had makeup. He had the little lip ring and everything.
Eyebrow ring.
So Jimmy, and basically he was just rocking the Snoop Dogg. It just wasn't pressed. It wasn't as shiny as Snoop's. I think he needs a little bit more
Jerry
coconut oil in
juice
there,
or something like
whatever
that.
it is. Because, when I saw the piercings, it brought back memories to me because when I was in middle school, my parents at the time wouldn't let me get my ears pierced.
Sure.
So I don't know if you rock these or if anybody rocked these back in the day, but they had magnet earrings.
Yes.
And you could put the magnet earrings on and just pop them off when you were going to see your parents. And when you leave, you just pop them back in.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Jimmy was rocking that on his eyes.
I think so.
On his lips.
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on there. But shout out Jimmy for Jimmy just being Jimmy. I'm in my emotional stage.
Yes, his emo stage, and he was saying it was because of the Dame trade. But I just love that, on YouTube they post the highlights after every game.
Right
now, that's going to be the thumbnail on every single Heat game. I can't. It's like it's the best troll that you could possibly do.
Well, the Stat Muse, how they make the cartoon version. Did you see the cartoon version of him with the hair?
Yes, I did.
Oh my god,
it's so good.
There's just so many layers to that.
Yeah. Last year when he did it, the NBA switched to his 2K photo for the rest of the season.
Did they really?
Yeah, they started using his NBA 2K profile pic.
Wow. But what would they say though?
I don't know what you.
Okay, you say no piercings. Fine.
Sure, but that's not fixing
no
the hair.
face piercings because guys wear earrings.
Sure, right, exactly, and you can't stop that. What no outlandish what you're not gonna have Chris Birdman Anderson exist?
Right.
There's not just
he's not a chef. You can't put him in a hairnet.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't really know. I think Jimmy might have Adam Silver.
I think he's got
hands
him,
tied right now.
He's got him handcuffed a little bit
with what he's going to be able to do. So Jimmy. He's handling his business.
He won the day.
He won the day.
1,000% won the day.
We had other footnotes with Damian Lillard. Wow, I've never been a part of something like this. Giannis and being Giannis, dropping F-bombs. And, hey, we got the sound. Let's hear from Giannis.
I said I don't know where I said it, article. I don't remember where I said it, but I said, it did not make sense to sign a contract right now. because money is not important. A lot of money is important. So I'm going to sign him next year.
Is he untouchable right now? Can he not do anything wrong?
I would say yes, except people really killed him for that when he exited the playoffs, and people were
that's
like,
true.
But that's it. I mean, besides that,
and that was bad though.
I didn't mind it. I understood what he was trying to say. It was definitely not the right time or the right place to say it. I understood what he was trying to say, but besides that, I would say yes. He's pretty much universally, like, we're doing approval rating. There's like a 98 to 100% approval rating for Giannis.
Well, and normally when that happens, things start to shift.
Yes.
Right? Because they build you up to tear you down. They tried to tear him down, and then he won.
Yep.
He won the championship. Now you get Dame, and I do feel like he's going to have to get one with Dame.
Yes, he's got
Or people will start saying, all right, man, it's cute that you had Oreos for the first time and everything, but you're a liability in the playoffs. What's going on here? Yeah, I'm trying to think, man. I like Giannis.
Yeah.
Some of it does
feel
seem like
it's coming here.
It's turning into a shtick a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
a little bit. Yeah,
And
it's like, look how cute I can be, and like,
But I'm telling you, I go through comments, right, to see, okay, who's going to be mad that he cursed?
Right.
Not one.
Not a single.
Not one person.
Yeah.
He's untouchable right now. And good for him.
Yeah.
Bless him. But it's a little much.
It can be. It definitely. I mean, I got that way with Steph Curry. Like, I'm kind of notorious here for being a bit of a Steph hater, because I think he got a little bit into that range of trying to be really cute, trying to be, I say, Disney, like he's just America's sweetheart. And that's what that's kind of the mold that he wants to fill. And it feels like Giannis is kind of taking a little bit of a page from that, where
right.
I mean, I don't think he's trying to be this way. I think he kind of is just a light.
That's how it always starts, though.
That is true. And then once you get into the media sphere, they kind of, it just kind of becomes a massive part of everything.
So I can't believe I'm about to say this, but now that you've brought me here, I'm just gonna follow you.
Let's do it.
And I've actually never said this before. I'm Bay Area. You talk a lot of Warriors, but the Steph Curry.
I can't wait for this.
Maybe it's the exaggeration sometimes of things that he does that I think I've just seen it for so long that doesn't bother me. Steph's my favorite player, but it's just sometimes I just think, Steph, enough. So yesterday,
lighting the beam, that set a lot of people off.
No, not even. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about his antics mid game. I'm talking about his kind of patented celebrations. Okay, so Steph does he bounces the ball right in the pregame workout. Bounces the ball, goes in, he runs all around the court. Steph, you're not that happy.
Yeah.
You're not that happy about this.
Right.
Okay.
Like you just hit a hole in one.
Like you just hit a hole. That one's fine.
That's fine.
So
that's understandable.
Now let's take that one. Steph has this same setup that we have here with this putting thing. And yesterday at Media Day, they were doing some putting thing going on, right? Steph makes a hole in one. Not even a hole in one, just this little putting green thing. And it's some game they were playing. He screams into the camera. He jumps. He's running around like a real hole in one.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, as much as I love Steph, are we sure that's authentic? Or does he feel like that's kind of his shtick?
Right.
Right? I'm Mr. Joyful.
Yes.
I'm going to run around because I made a Media Day office hole in one putt. Right? And I'm thinking, Steph, just do less, man.
Yes.
Can we save that for if you do get back to the promised land? Because he wants number 5. But, it's sometimes the shticks always start naturally.
Yes.
And they always start innocently.
Right. And then it just kind of becomes a part of who you are.
And then you can't turn it off.
Always happens. It's how it always happens.
So I can't believe I just said that.
No, I love it. I'm definitely, Kyle, can you clip that, please? Because I'm going to need that.
Don't.
I mean, I am right there with you. I mean, I think, to Giannis, like, I could see it being kind of a bigger part. I mean, he's going to get a lot more media attention with Dame there this year. It wouldn't surprise me if we get some Giannis fatigue at some point. And I think we're lucky, or Giannis, I guess, might have been lucky that they made such an immediate move for Dame, because I think he was going to start to be a part of the conversation. We were already hearing it of, is Giannis going to leave? Like, is he was already making some suspicious comments.
He still did. He still did yesterday.
He pretty much
said, as long
didn't
as they
back
win, as long as they win, I'll stay. He does not care. And everyone, Bucks media, okay, Giannis, whatever you say.
Thanks for clarifying. It's like, how about the fact that he pretty much said, this still isn't enough?
Right,
like, that feels like something that should be talked about. But yeah, I mean, and a part of that is the NBA too. Like the NBA is just trying to market these guys as best as they can. And I think they're trying to make it as kid friendly of a league as possible. And I think guys like Giannis and Steph are honestly a really big part of that. I think that part of the excitement, the over the top, happiness and all that stuff, it's all building towards, the kids and trying to attract them.
Right. Sure. And look, like I said, I love Steph, but sometimes I'm just Steph.
It's a bit much.
You're not that happy.
It's a bit much.
You're not that happy. You got so much going on in your life, man.
Yeah.
I just think, Steph, enough.
Hey, there we go. There we go. That's all.
Wow, that was quick. That's impressive. All right. So now you got it. I'm just going to deny that that wasn't me at all time. So you had that. You had Anthony Davis talking about his rivalry with the Nuggets.
Yes. That was interesting.
And is it a rivalry? You got swept.
Yeah, right.
Did the Nuggets know it's a rivalry?
That's a great point.
So, okay.
That's a great point.
So we were talking before the show. I played baseball at Temple University. Shout out T for Temple U. And Temple, we are a basketball school, right? Basketball school first. And Temple, for me, when we play, maybe not Villanova, because Villanova is also Big Five. So when Temple football plays Penn State football, we think it's a rivalry.
Yeah, y'all get up for it.
We are juiced. Yeah. I don't think
they're not doing the whiteout
Lions have circled Temple on their schedule.
Here's the quote from AD real quick. He's like, KCP's my guy, so you kind of congratulate him, but it was just a lot of talking and being the Lakers' dads. There was just so much of it going on. I was like, all right, y'all won. I get it. But me and Braun had some conversations like, we can't wait.
You can't wait to what? Win a game?
Right, exactly.
What are we talking about?
That's the one-sided rivalry thing is that's the point to make. Like, I don't think that the Denver Nuggets are thinking about any of the West in particular. Like, I think maybe Phoenix got their attention. They took 2 games off of them in that series. Maybe they feel like, that's at least something to be concerned about. But yeah, the Lakers, that was easy work for Denver. They really weren't concerned about them at all.
Right. And, I know the Lakers made a bunch of moves, but I'm not even sure. I mean, the idea that, wow, the Lakers are the favorites or, a lot of people besides the Nuggets.
Right.
I didn't feel like they made that big of a leap.
I agree.
I think they made a lot of moves, but I don't know that, the what they did. I don't know how anybody's going to compete with this. And now they've been able to play together this whole time. And they only got these guys after the trade deadline. I don't know. I think they'll be in the mix along with everybody else.
Right. No, I completely agree. And I don't think that they're going to have the same hunger that they had last year either. I mean, they got off to about as bad of a start as you probably could have last year. And then they move on from Russ. They make all the moves. And there was a sense of urgency. It wasn't like we were talking about earlier. Yeah, they were an older team, but they understood, hey, we're an older team who needs to get at least to the playoffs because we got Braun and AD, and it's doing them a disservice if we don't try. This year, they got to try for all 82. Like, it's not just a half-season sprint.
Right.
They're going to miss AD. They're going to miss LeBron. Like, who knows how else the injury bug is going to hit them. They're going to have to really do it for 82 games. It's not just going to be a sneak into the 7 seed and then you're going to surprise people.
No, because you had the Grizzlies who they dealt with their drama. They were kind of a fake 2 seed. So you're not going to be able to pull that off. So, it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. We got to get to a break. Stiles and Watkins, when we get back, more NBA talk. The Celtics moves, the Bucks moves, a little overblown. We'll chat. Sactown Sports. We'll be right back. I just think, Steph, enough.
Good Guys Heating and Cooling is proud to announce their partnership with Susan G. Komen to raise money and awareness for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. For the entire month of October, Good Guys is committed to donating $10 of every $69 seasonal tune-up performed and $250 for every heating and air system replaced to Susan G. Komen. Call Good Guys Heating and Cooling now to schedule your tune-up and help save lives. 530-GOOD-AIR or online at goodguysheatingcooling.com. Best service, best price, guaranteed. And that's no bull. License number 1057618.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you find the right customers. Spread awareness of your product or services. We can help build trust in your brand and services with a digital marketing campaign. Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing campaigns that deliver results. Don't wait. Get started today. Contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results.
Hi, it's Brian Bennett from Bennett's Restaurants in Roseville and Sacramento, and our newest restaurant, Bennett's West Side Grill at Rockland's Blue Oak Town Center on Lone Tree Boulevard. We believe in serving the freshest handcrafted foods in a warm, convivial setting. We have a fantastic happy hour featuring shareable plates, wine, priced from just $6. And get this, we feature happy hour 7 days a week, 2 to 6 p.m. So grab a friend and come in and have some fun. Bennett's Kitchen Bar Market, Eureka and Lit Hill Roads in Roseville, and Bennett's American Cooking on Fair Oaks and Howe in Sacramento. Speaking of our newest restaurant in Rockland, we feature live fire grilling over mesquite wood. We are smoking our own salmon, chicken, and cheese. You have to eat it to believe it. Want a nice seafood platter? West Coast oysters, Dungeness crab, wild Mexican prawns, Bering Sea snow crab claws? Look no further than Bennett's West Side Grill. Find us on the web at bennettsrestaurants.com and book a reservation today. Eat well, stay well, and remember, Bennett's is where you'll always receive a hospitable welcome.
Individual rates, coverage, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. Hey, small business owner, when's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs. But some don't check their rate often. Did you know rates can vary? In fact, taking 3 minutes to check your rate with Pi Insurance could save you up to 30%. Just go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for you with no hassle or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could save you money. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi, or get a quote at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sactown Sports' IMAX Pass by visiting SactownSports.com and sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's film at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
We are back. Sactown Sports. Stiles and Watkins taking you up to 2 p.m. And look, the YouTube chat, really, you're trying to get at me like this. So, family, Schlegel, first day on the job, I heard I hate Brock and Steph. That's not, you can't take that out of context like that. Enough. You can't take it out of context like that. But thank you. Appreciate the love. So, the NBA.
Yeah.
Is the NFL is the content king. Yeah. The NBA is the drama king. And the drama just never ends with the NBA. And it's not going to end now, because now you have Drew Holiday, who's going to get a chance to avenge, right, this move to where basically you don't see this very often, where you have a Bucks team. And it's interesting. We were talking a little bit about Giannis and how he doesn't really get any bad raps besides what he said last year about, it's not a failure. But you have a guy let's not forget, once upon a time, they traded to get Drew Holiday.
Right. Yes.
And Drew Holiday got him over the hump.
Yep.
To
From Eric
win
Bledsoe, if I'm not
from Eric Bledsoe,
yeah.
who Eric Bledsoe was basically just a running back with the basketball.
Was, yeah.
That guy had it was like Lukaku. He had no sideways movement at all. He could
the
not.
soccer reference is
so
great.
There you go.
Oh, I love it. That's so perfect.
So Drew Holiday now is with the Celtics, and the Celtics are going to have an opportunity to get over the hump that they've been trying to get over, and at some point they're going to face off against the Bucks.
Right.
What do you think about the Bucks getting moved to? I think it's plus 400 now to win the whole thing.
Both of them.
Am I missing something?
I think a lot of it is, just the nature of gambling. Like when a big move like this happens, just a rush of money comes towards that. But I don't necessarily feel, I guess I feel a little bit better about the Bucks' chances, but I still feel like they gave up a lot to look different. And I'm not sure, yes, they look a lot different, but I don't know if they're better for it necessarily. And this could more just be, I'm a really big Drew Holiday fan. I think defensively on the perimeter, not just his size, but his strength is just not something that really anybody in the league has, with the exception of maybe like Marcus Smart. But I mean, everything you lose defensively, you obviously gain with Damian Lillard, but I think there's still a lot of questions about what that entails as well. Like if Dame's your point guard and they got rid of Grayson Allen, they're now running like Dame, Pat Connaughton as their backcourt. And like, I don't, that doesn't really instill a lot of faith from my end. And I know, people will say, oh, they still have Brooke Lopez, who let's not forget is 36, 37 years old, and Giannis as well. To kind of, be the goalies back there. I just don't know if that's necessarily going to be good enough more times than not. Like, I think that they have real concerns, especially on the perimeter defensively, that was really their calling card last year. Like, the Bucks were a very slow offense, but defensively they were elite, and that's how they stayed at the top of the league. If you're dropping off a little defensively, sure, you're gaining a bit on offense or more than a bit with Dame, but is it enough? I think I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I just think that I have a lot of questions that I still need answered before Bucks are the absolute favorite.
Well, I'm just not sure when everybody decided that Drew Holiday was terrible on offense, right?
Yes,
not
that's
bad.
He's
not bad offensively.
He's not Marcus Smart. He's better. He's a lot better.
So I didn't really understand when that happened, because obviously, like you talked about, Bledsoe, he's better than Bledsoe offensively, and he was better defensively. So I was kind of confused at that move, but I just think that ultimately when you lose games and you have somebody like Giannis saying, I need a name, they said, okay, Giannis, we'll get you a name, even if the fit might not be as good as it is right now. But conversely, with the Celtics, the Celtics are going to be team lockdown. Yeah. But both of those teams, the struggles that they were trying to alleviate, I think the Celtics did more because, okay, when you look at the Bucks and you get to the playoffs, hey, things are going to be tougher for Giannis. They're going to do hack a Giannis, things like that. But now we have Dame.
Right.
Okay, you have Dame, but you also need, as important as Dame is, if Middleton, who struggled with injuries these last couple years, if he's not able to stay on the court, the two of you are not good enough. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's gonna be some brutal basketball because Dame is a bit of and I love Dame. Shout out Oakland. He's a bit of a foul hunter.
Yes.
Dame hunts fouls, and that's what he has to do at that size.
Right.
But it's going to be some brutal look. It is not going to be whatever the Warriors were aesthetically with Kevin Durant, or even now, the Bucks are kind of going to be the opposite.
Yeah, they're going to be throwing themselves at that rim.
It's not going to be pretty basketball.
No, and Dame also has a propensity to chuck it up sometimes too. Like, yes, he is lethal from like 30 plus. Like he's one of the best at that. Obviously, he can light it up just from three in general, but that, especially when Dame's pretty much your only ability to stretch out the floor. Like Pat Connaughton, he's a good 3-point shooter. Right. He's not knocked down. Chris Middleton is really, really good, but he's not really somebody he's going to stand in the corner. He's going to stretch out the floor a little. If Dame is really your primary shooter, that can lead to its own separate set of problems. And I know the Dame Giannis pick and roll is what everyone's drooling over, and that's, for sure, you have that as your win. That's almost like it's almost unstoppable. But it's a team game. Like, basketball is very, very much a team game. Dame's been a guy who, for whatever reason, you can say the Blazers shut him down so that they can lean into the tank. But Dame hasn't been able to finish a season in the past couple of years either. I still think there's a lot of questions about this Milwaukee team that I really need to see before I'm there. And even on Boston's end, I think they got better,
right?
But they gave up a lot too. Like, especially if you're looking directly at that matchup, their big Giannis, quote unquote, Giannis stopper was Robert Williams. Or I'm sorry, was Grant Williams. He's gone. Robert Williams as well.
Yeah.
He's gone. They don't have the same level of depth either that they've had in the past. So yes, those teams, I would say, on the surface got better, more dangerous, but I'm not willing to crown either one of them as for sure title favorites.
No, and look, Pat Connaughton is good, but he's not Kyle Korver.
He's not.
I think a lot of people think that he is Kyle Korver. He's not Kyle Korver. No. So you got to deal with that. You got to find scoring from somewhere else. And going back to the Celtics, again, you talk about, okay, what are we trying to fix? The Bucks, I guess, were trying to fix their lack of a third scorer, right? By getting an elite scorer in Damian Lillard. What were the Celtics trying to fix? To be honest with you, I'm not sure.
I think they just wanted someone who could play point guard, but even then, like, Drew isn't your typical playmaker.
Can we talk about something for a second? What happened with Malcolm Brogdon?
I have no idea.
What?
Because that was his role. That was his role was supposed to be, you're going to be the guy who's essentially the playmaker.
And then they just threw him on the bench and said, actually, we're just going to rock with Marcus Smart.
Yeah. And some of that was injuries, but and he's always been a guy who's dealt with injuries, but it just didn't work. I don't know what it was. I thought Brogdon was going to be a piece that just set them way over. I was like, people aren't talking enough about Malcolm Brogdon, who's just, his game isn't flashy at all, but he does everything that you need him to do. Maybe it's because Jason Tatum has the ball in his hands so much. Jaylen Brown also has the ball in his hand a lot.
He needs to stop that.
I think he needs
to stop that.
I kind of think that's where this is addressing, is like, maybe we should have somebody else who can at least have the ball, initiate the offense, because those guys can't have the ball in their hand the entire time.
Just hop on the wing and just kick it on the wing.
Exactly.
You good here.
Yeah,
you good.
Drive at the rim and,
You're solid.
Yeah.
You're solid. I got to shout out. I have a group chat with all my buddies that I played before COVID. We were at we called the YMCA Legends, and we played together for like 4 or 5 years. And he had one of the best. He had one of the best texts that I've seen, because when everything went down, he sits there and then he goes, "Well, Jaylen Brown is punching the air right now, only with his right hand though."
Jaylen Brown gets so disrespected. It's if you watch the film, it's totally justifiable.
He's not the worst dribbler. He just tries to dribble too much for how bad he is at dribbling.
That's the thing. Yes.
Just don't do it.
Exactly.
Just don't do it. That's not your thing. I told you earlier, I played baseball. Didn't have a cannon.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just went hot potato, just get it out of my hand.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to try to show off the gun.
You're right.
I'm just going to get it to the shortstop. You do what you got to do.
Know
buddy.
yourself.
You got to know your
yourself,
role.
man. Exactly.
Know your role,
Exactly.
know your rank, and I think that hopefully, Drew Holiday will add to something, because the Celtics do seem to be up against
they're
a
at that
wall
Niner point
here.
where it's like, how many times can you reach the conference finals, the finals, before you
think
have
about
to
it?
win?
They've been doing this. We were making jokes about Jason Tatum being 23 for the last 4 years. That was 4 years ago. They've been at this for a long time.
Yeah.
A long time.
A really long time.
I don't and I do appreciate the fact that they've just refused to buy into Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown not working. If you want to, if that's your thing, if you want to be a hard head, good for you.
Yeah.
Because we've said it time and time again. Nope, we're good here. Okay.
I think it's going to work out. To me, that's how you
here
get.
we go.
To me, that's at least how you get there every year. And now I'm not, to your point, to maybe what you're trying to say, like, they haven't been able to get over the top. But to me, the best formula for being in the equation every single year, if you can have two dominant forwards, what the Clippers have been trying to do year after year.
Well, sure.
To me, that's the easiest way of just being dominant. But, to your point, it hasn't been good enough to get over the top. So
yeah, we'll see. All right, we got to get to a break. Stiles and Watkins. When we get back, we're going back to some Kings talk again. Could this be the year? Where is the window? Is it open? And how open is it? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729 or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart, and I have a question for you. You know that unwelcome guest everyone wishes would just leave already? That's COVID-19. That's why I got a COVID shot this season, designed for recent variants. Got it?
Learn more and schedule this season's updated COVID-19 shot at vaccines.gov.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Take it on the local level.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Good morning or afternoon, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Today is the first day of Sacramento Kings training camp. We've got tons of coverage from Kings Media Day up right now at SactownSports.com and the Sactown Sports YouTube. We've got interviews with Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox, 15 Sacramento Kings players, Monty McNair, and a whole bunch more. In baseball, the MLB playoffs begin today. Wildcard rounds are getting started right now. Texas and Tampa Bay are about to have their first pitch. Blue Jays and Twins are going to start at 1:30. Those are your headlines. Reminder that all guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Now let's return for some more from Stiles and Watkins right here on Sactown Sports.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
We are back. Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins taking up to 2 p.m. Kyle coming in with a couple bangers today.
Oh,
I'm good with that. Where are you at? Because we're around the same age. How do you feel about all the remakes? Remakes of like us in middle school.
Right, yeah.
Now being remade. I think
know. We're officially
Lotto just did one.
Yeah, she
with
did the Mariah Carey one.
Well,
right?
that's all she does.
Right.
She did Mariah Carey. Then she recently did Waka Flocka.
Which
it's
one?
a party. It's a party.
No way.
Yeah, and they tried to.
Oh, see, I
tried
missed
to say,
that.
"Hey, Waka, are you good with it?" And he said, "Hey, it's the biggest form of flattery." They're all getting cashed out.
Exactly. I was like, as long as I'm getting royalties, then it's great.
And what I've noticed is, I think NLE Choppa did the Hot in Here one, which
I didn't hear that.
And I'm thinking, come on, man, why?
Yeah.
Why?
That don't need to be touched.
Why?
That does not need to be touched.
Instead, I think what these artists are learning are, instead of being salty and causing a ruckus about that,
right.
I saw Nelly at the MTV Music Awards. He said, "Oh, you can have it. I'm gonna be up there performing with you."
It revitalizes your career. I think it like brings you back into the conversation, and I think that's what these people all have learned. Even even people beforehand. Like I remember, back in our day, if we can use that, Gym Class Heroes. You remember they came out with their couple songs. I can't remember exactly what it was, but those were all remakes. And I remember the conversation was like, oh, like y'all know these are just songs that are redone. And it's like,
oh,
I think it's good for the awareness of music in general. Like especially, I wouldn't consider myself like a music connoisseur. So a lot of the times, like it really does open my eyes to the history of music.
Right.
And like, sometimes it opens up my taste a little.
Well, there's
too.
samples, and then there's just
complete remakes.
I'm basically redoing the song. Then you have
the Lotto stuff. I'm out.
The Lotto,
I hate all the remakes.
Well, just can you make one by yourself?
Yes.
Can you get one?
Yeah.
Then you have Olivia Rodrigo. You have Lotto who remakes, and Olivia Rodrigo said, "I'm not going to remake. I'm just going to make songs that sound eerily similar to exactly what we sounded." So keep it coming, Kyle. You're doing a great job with the bangers.
Thank you.
And speaking of a banger, that's what the Kings had their season last year when they won the Pacific Division. And we're going to get into it because I'm going to be honest with you, and I don't know if I'm alone on this. Sometimes you got to be reminded of what the Pacific Division was or is, because the one thing you care about is, well, did you win the whole thing or not?
Right,
you know?
exactly.
But, as some people say, #tiny victories, and you gotta start somewhere. So last year, just to run through it, you had the Kings winning the division at 48-34. The Suns were 45-37. The Clippers 44-38. The Warriors also 44-38, and the Lakers 43-39.
I'm not great at math, but that's like 5 games that separate 5 teams.
Yes, it literally was. The Lakers were 5 games back. So you have the Kings, who we know that this isn't their goal, as we've talked about media day. They want the whole thing.
Right. They don't want to taste.
They don't want to taste. They don't want the Costco free sample. They want the whole thing. But you got to start somewhere, and I think you would start by making sure you do take care of your division.
Right, and I mean it's a good place to start because you just listed all the teams in the division. Those are the main competition. Like obviously, the Denver is going to stick out, and who knows what Memphis is going to look like this year. But for the most part, this is the group of teams that you really, really need to be concerned about. Whether it be the teams outside the division, like the Timberwolves. Those guys are still up and coming. OKC, they're still kind of in a similar situation as the Kings. Every other the teams in their division, the Suns, the Clippers, the Warriors, the Lakers, all those teams have veterans, and all of those teams have championship aspirations.
That's what
There's nothing like again, the Timberwolves, the OKC Thunder. They want to be good expectations. They want to make the playoffs. They want to be what the Kings were last year.
Right.
That's their goal for this year. Everyone else that the Kings are directly competing with has championship aspirations, nothing more, nothing less. And I think that's what makes this division so intriguing and so difficult at the same time is it's just going to be a bloodbath. And I think you said that during the break. It's just you look at all of those teams and I could not for the life of me try and pick out which one sticks out. They all have their pluses, all have their minuses. And the Kings, I guess, have the advantage of, like we were talking about earlier, at least they'll want to care about the regular season. But in terms of the bigger picture, I mean, if we're talking playoff series, team for team, it's really splitting hairs.
Yeah, and the Kings are the only team, again, with the Nuggets and maybe one other team that could afford to. A lot of these teams can't afford to. So now I'm just going through all the divisions because the Pacific might be the only division where every team is in their championship window. I'll put it to you like that. Because you have Atlantic, okay, at the bottom, you got the Nets and the Raptors. And I'll be respectful to the Knicks, but come on. And then the Central, you have the Pacers, the Bulls, the Pistons. Southeast, you have the Magic, the Hornets, the Wizards. Shout out Jordan Poole. Northwest, you have the Thunder, the Jazz. The Nuggets. I mean, they're going to sleepwalk through the Northwest.
That's Timberwolves pretending they have a championship window.
Yeah, right. No one's going to tell them otherwise. Pacific, you have every team. Southwest, at the bottom you have, because it's the Texas teams, you have the Rockets, who I would not let the Rockets be whoever's running that accounting firm or the GM. You can't handle my money because that was some
I don't know
weirdly
just threw it out
money. You might as well just head over to the casino and put it all on black or something like that. And then you have the Spurs, who Wembanyama, we know they're starting to open. It was an interesting team to me is obviously we know we'll get back to the Pacific Division, but just quickly, the Pelicans. The Southwest has
no one's talking about we want to talk about the Kings being slept on. Pelicans are in REM. They're hibernating.
But again, the reason I didn't bring up the Pelicans is because I can't trust Zion.
No, you can't.
If I'm going to trust the Pelicans, I might as well trust the Clippers.
Right? 100%. It's the same bet, if not a better bet to bet on the Clippers.
So, but again, these are teams that might not be championship aspirations, but they're going to be pesky. They're going to be annoying.
Right, exactly.
You can't sleepwalk against these teams. The Mavs, again,
who knows? But they're going to at least not be fun to play on a nightly basis because you never know. That's going to be the problem with them is you show up and you might just get beat by Kyrie Irving and Luka having 30 each, and there's
I don't know
not
who else
much
is
you
still
can
on the
do.
team.
Exactly.
Keep on.
The only 2 players I can name right now. I know they got Rashawn Holmes now, but I mean it's really, really tough. And to go back to the Pelicans, like they had a shot last year. They were the 1 seed for I think a week in December. And then to your point, Zion goes down, Brandon Ingram goes down. CJ McCollum's got to lift that team up, and it's just they didn't have the horses to do it. And realistically, pointing out the Clippers is a perfect cross example because there's not really any reason to believe that the Pelicans aren't just going to do that again. They do it every single year.
Yeah.
They might be pesky, but that injury bug has gotten to get them every single time.
Yeah, and it's good, not good. You don't wish injury, but
Right.
you do want, if you're rooting for the Kings or whoever
Right.
you're rooting for, it would be nice to have a couple nights off because some of these games are going to be back-to-backs.
Yes, 100%.
And when they're back-to-backs, and now instead of you thinking, okay, the easiest back-to-back is going to be Rockets Spurs.
Right.
And even still, I don't think the Rockets aren't going to make any noise, but I wouldn't disrespect them.
No.
I wouldn't disrespect the Rockets. The Spurs are really the only team that I think you can kind of chill out on. But again,
even the Blazers are going to be a team that's frisky, you know?
And that's the thing. The Kings are going to have the horses. I think the back-to-back thing is going to be huge. Going back to trying to get that 1 seed, trying to make sure you have an opportunity to light the beam as often as possible because these other teams, and I'm putting the Suns in that category too.
Yeah.
Everybody else here. Who else in the Pacific Division is going to be able to handle back-to-backs? The Suns? No.
No.
The Clippers? No. The
They
Warriors?
won't even get their starters to
God,
play
no.
back-to-backs.
The Lakers? Absolutely
Probably not. Yeah. I mean, and that's really the biggest thing for the Kings this year is hopefully their depth comes through because last year they got more fortunate than some numbers say more fortunate than any team in NBA history with their health. A lot of their guys, a lot of their core guys were all able to play 70-plus games.
Right.
That's not typical, but also the Kings did a good job this year, again, of bringing back those guys, but also bringing in a lot of depth pieces. So that's going to be what the Kings are banking for. You mentioned the back-to-backs. It's going to be tough for them on a top-end basis to have Domas and Fox ready at 100% every single game, and that's where they're going to have to rely on guys like, hey, can Sasha Vezenkov give us a 20-plus point night? Can Chris Duarte give us an unexpected night? Can Trey Lyles have himself a night? That's what the Kings, I think, are going to bank on a lot more this season. It was a lot of fourth-quarter Fox last year, a lot of, Domas really leading things in the first quarter and then kind of letting the game come to him. I think this year is going to be a lot about Malik Monk, about Keegan Murray, about hopefully Harrison Barnes and Sasha Vezenkov. Hopefully those guys have a few days where you can look back at the end of the season and say, we won that game because Sasha Vezenkov had himself a 25-point night and he really closed the game out and made it an easy one. And to me, that's hopefully what the Kings are going to get better at this year is just leaning on their depth and having their depth come through.
Well, and that's why right here from the 916 Pike on the 916, we are so deep and, the whole strength in numbers thing that we've kind of connected to the Warriors.
Yeah.
Mike Brown says, I'm going to take that. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to put it in the Kings colors, and we're going to do that here.
Well, that started it all, right? Strength in numbers. That was like the first Warrior group that really set it off, right?
Exactly. And, the other thing is there's nothing wrong with just acknowledging where something came from. We were just to bring up the music conversation. As long as you acknowledge them and you don't try to sell it as your own, hashtag Olivia Rodrigo, and just say, hey, I'm Lotto and this song came out, I'm going to do it again. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
We see this all the time. So I told you I went to De La Salle out in Concord. So De La Salle, as you know, back in the day, they were the juggernaut.
They would run things.
They're not necessarily a juggernaut anymore. And who they continue to lose to is a team in San Mateo where Barry Bonds and Tom Brady went. Sarah, where did Sarah's coach come from? De La Salle.
If I had to guess, De La Salle.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Hey, I'm going to take what you did.
Right.
I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to remix it. We're going to do this over here on the other side of the bay.
Yeah. I mean, that's usually how it works is imitation is the greatest form of flattery. And I think a lot of the times it's taking from what the best do and trying to, like you said, put your spin on it and make it a little bit different. Or frankly, you could just do the same thing and rinse and repeat.
Right.
If it's a proven thing to work, I don't see anything wrong with it. And to bring it back to the Kings, like having depth there's no negative in that. Like if you're going to have 12 guys that you feel good about bringing onto the floor, that's just positive. Yeah, there might be some ego things that go along with that. So, people aren't going to be happy with their minutes or with their role. But if everyone's bought in like they should be and like they were last year, to me, it's just a massive positive.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to hear. If you are part of the Rabin team, the Rabin Dream Team.
Yes, sir.
Stiles and Watkins got to get to a break. When we get back, Chris is going to explain to me why he hates baseball, because the baseball playoffs, MLB playoffs are starting today.
Yeah.
So Chris has to convince me why he hates baseball.
I got you.
It's Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave letting you know Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room and primetime football location is back. Cap Casino giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game, offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Check it out. Capital Casino. And as always, please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
We are back. Sactown Sports. Stiles and Watkins taking you up to 2 p.m. And I got to talk to my guy Chris, because baseball has a smooth place in my heart.
Yeah.
So, I meet Chris for the first time, and one of the first things out of his mouth is, I can't stand baseball.
Yep.
And I just gotta know, I guess the way we wanted to spin this is, it seems like baseball has become more popular. It had a good year with the bases being bigger, the pitch clock. Did it help you at all?
It did a little bit. I like it. I follow baseball from afar. Like I'm not going to watch 162 games or whatever.
I mean, I don't do that.
Yeah, no, I don't. I hope nobody does.
All right.
Sorry. that was an unnecessary shot. I'm sorry. It's just it helped. It did help. I like the numbers. I like the fact that Ronald Acuna puts up this 40-70 season. I understand why the purists are a little upset, because it's not, it's not exact, and with the bases being bigger, it kind of tarnishes it a little.
Right.
But that's what I follow, is from the baseball perspective. I follow the numbers and I follow the historic relevance of everything. And so from that perspective, I liked this season. I think it was a step in the right direction. To me, and maybe this is just a me thing, I need the long ball. I need I need home runs to feel like you mentioned the guy in the stands who's always saying this is going to be a home run. This is going to be a home run. That guy needs to be right more times throughout the game to me. Like I need to feel like, oh my God, bases are loaded or whatever. There's guys at second and third, heavy hitters coming up. I want to feel like there's a 60%, maybe that's too much, but I want to feel like there's a good chance that that the ball is going to travel and something exciting is going to happen. I understand that baseball made a big push to just have more balls in play this year. I think that's great for the game. I think getting more the shift being banned.
Yes.
I think seeing guys dive for balls and not just be perfectly in position. I think that's all good for the game. But for me, all that it's missing is just a good home run chase. And it doesn't really. I guess it doesn't.
They had that last year with Aaron Judge.
It was a one man. It was just a look how many home runs this and. To that point, though, that got me interested. I will watch Aaron Judge play or just try and hit the ball over the fence. But to me, it's still missing also just a connectivity. The NFL, they do a decent job of marketing their guys. I don't think the best job. NBA, incredible, through the roof. That's almost the example. To me, baseball still hasn't done a great job of connecting their guys to the community or to just general sports watchers. I think O'Neal Cruz was a really fun example. I think De La Cruz was a great example again this year of bringing excitement to the game. But it just doesn't feel like those guys have really entered into a different level of hyper relevance. And really, Mookie Betts to an extent. I mean, you can't get more exciting of a player than
Right.
Mookie Betts. And it doesn't feel like, I mean, people would talk about it with Mike Trout. It just doesn't feel like those guys are a part of water cooler conversations enough.
Yeah, it is interesting. And the thing about Mookie, I've always felt somehow Mookie is a bit undersold. I think Mookie is everything that you'd want. I think he's got a pretty darn good personality.
He's got a podcast.
He's doing the podcast with Bleacher Report.
I think that's helping for sure. Yeah.
They're definitely trying. Where this ended up messing up, and I don't know if I'm going to trigger Kyle here, is Tatis really messed this up for everybody.
Kind of did.
He was the guy.
He kind of was.
He was the guy.
Kind of was.
In fairness, baseball does this is the next great star every year.
That is true.
Like,
That is very true.
But this guy.
But he's the next. He's the next until Ohtani, but then it's going to be Vlad Jr., but then it's going to be Julio Rodriguez, but then it's Ellie De La Cruz.
No, but I guess the reason I would put Tatis in a different category is because of his marketability, the dreads, things like that. I mean,
Just
the
flair.
The Giants had the panda hats and things like that. So the flair that he had, I love all the bat flipping, and I would say this, and I've always been in this camp. To your point, if baseball can make the bases bigger, if baseball can limit the amount of times you can pick off, so that's one thing with Ronald Acuna. He knew, I can go now.
Especially off one. Yeah, once you throw it once, you're solid.
If you can do all that, why are they still playing 162 games?
Right.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
I know, but nobody cares.
It's the TV money. These contracts are huge for local regional television deals. They're not going to take away games.
No, they're not going to, but you're never going to have what football has, right? And to be fair, basketball deals with it a bit too. Nobody really pays attention about basketball besides
That's why the in-season tournament exists now.
Which
for this exact reason.
We'll see how that works. But basketball with 82, they struggle with it a little bit as well early on. But basketball has they have better landmarks, right? Basketball has
Christmas
beginning
Day,
of the season, Christmas Day, MLK Day. Now it's time to boogie. Now it's time to pay attention.
The All-Star weekend, all that stuff.
Baseball has. I'll pay attention after the All-Star break.
Right? Yeah, 100%. And to your point, I mean, you bring up Tatis. Sorry, Kyle. This is not.
I'm happy to.
No, I think that I could almost stem my distaste for baseball really to the Padres in general. Like, you could say the Padres should be the team that brings someone like casual like me into
They were
the
supposed
sport.
to be.
They're supposed to have
It's
all the
rocking
stars.
down
They've
2
got-
years ago, they literally had posters that said America's most exciting team.
They should be. Like, right now, the conversation should be like how excited we are to see the Padres and Manny Machado and Tatis and Bogarts and Juan. So, like, we should be talking about how ridiculously stacked that team is, because I think that's, it's kind of crazy that I'm bringing this parallel, but like with the WNBA, that's the conversation about how you're going to grow that sport, is with these super teams, with the Aces and the Liberty, because it's something that people, the casual fan, can connect to and know, okay, this is the teams that I'm supposed to watch to get me excited for this. And I think baseball needs that. I mean, I do think no one liked it when the Yankees were dominating for years, but at the same time, getting that big
You need
bad.
someone to hate.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you need somebody to hate.
You need somebody to hate.
You need some big bad out there that everyone, for better or worse, whether you want to see them win or you want to see them lose, they need a polarizing team, and I just don't think they have that. Like, shout out the Braves, had a fantastic season. Nobody's talking about it.
I mean, Olsen hit 50.
He did. Incredible. Again, Acuna, incredible.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's not leading SportsCenter anytime soon. We're not going to ever lead our shows with that. Like, I don't think that is just, and that could be a bigger baseball problem, but I just don't know if that's ever a part of the conversations. And maybe it's just in my circles. Maybe the people I hang out with don't really talk about baseball like that.
They need to get right. But, here's the question. So basically, you're saying the Padres fumbled the baseball bag.
Essentially, yeah.
So the question is, if Kyle is saying that the TV numbers or the TV revenue is bringing it in, the question then becomes, how much does Major League Baseball actually care? If the money is right,
that's a great question.
Then what is the problem?
This entire wild card round is just made for television event. Like,
essentially,
tickets to today's Twins game, which starts, I think, in an hour, are going for like $7 right now. Like, the whole thing is made for television at 3 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon.
So maybe the problem is until it actually starts hurting them, right? They're not going to change how they are delivering and how that they believe their product is being delivered. Now, some of that gets confusing because if that was the case, then why change the rules?
Right.
So there is something that they're afraid of.
Yes.
Right. It
They're
might not be
acknowledging it at
now, and we
first,
might
yeah.
not even still be on this planet, right? But there is something that they're afraid of, because the one thing, I'm sitting there watching the home run derby, and to this point, there's been something said about Major League Baseball players and baseball players in general. They're not as athletic.
Right.
Baseball is not as athletic as football or basketball. And I don't think it is. But I would also say that this is the most athletic that Major League Baseball has been in decades. In decades. I mean, the same way we were talking about the Western Conference and the NBA, how we're going to forget someone. When someone says, hey, Allen, give me your top players right now, I'm going to forget someone because I'm going to say Julio Rodriguez and Ronald Acuna Jr., and I'm going to forget Randy Arozarena. I'm going to say, Ellie De La Cruz. I'm going to forget Mookie Betts. So they have guys, and I don't even know if it's marketing. Something is missing, and I think until baseball actually hurts from it missing, they're going to say, we're good over here. Our check's clear.
Yeah, I think
Our
the thing
check's
that's
clear
missing is a living, breathing commissioner. I think that's probably got something to do with it as well. The fact that, Rob Manfred is just, we've been talking a lot about him here from the A's perspective of things, and A's fans can tell you a whole another story about Rob Manfred. But I think a big part of it is it just doesn't seem like up top leadership really views it as a priority. I think it's a good step that they clearly, to your point, see some holes in the game and see some excitement that they believe can still be driven up. But to me, this is a league problem where they need to address it from the top. It needs to be a bigger priority, or at least just figuring out how to properly market these.
Guys. And to that point, and having a villain, when the only villain in the league is commissioner, that's a problem. You need to hate one of the teams.
Right,
and I don't think
exactly.
it helps that the Yankees have stunk up the joint as well.
Yeah, exactly. And the Dodgers are actually likable now.
And the Dodgers are
Mookie Betts is so likable.
The Dodgers I've always struggled with because I do really like all their players.
Yeah, that's the thing. They were doing a good job of being villains, like when they were trying to get the championship, and it was 2019 and 18 and Kershaw. Now they're lovable.
Yeah,
don't let them get Ohtani either. Then it's just then the media market.
I can't let that happen. I can't let that happen. Yeah, so I think that they're close. I think that they're just a couple missing pieces. I think you got to get the Yankees back in the fold. Yeah. And, for some odd reason, the Yankees are just fine continuing to do what they've been doing. I don't understand that. So I think baseball is slowly but surely starting to figure it out. But at the same time, maybe they're trying to catch kids young, and they're just saying that your demo,
we're just a lost.
I'm sorry,
just a lost age.
Hey, if maybe your local team gets in it, cool,
exactly.
But if not, it is what it is. All right, we got to get to a break. When we get back, Domantas Sabonis interview with Whitey and Watkins from yesterday. You're not going to want to miss this. How healthy is he? Is he ready to go? And what are his expectations for this Kings team in the coming season? It's Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sactown Sports.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. If you're a small business owner, listen up. Pi Insurance wants to give you one of those aha moments, the kind that could save you money. Workers' comp is probably one of the biggest costs you face. But did you know that insurance providers have flexibility in setting their prices? That's right. But many don't bother giving small businesses the savings you deserve. Instead, you can get lumped in with other businesses and overcharged. Pi Insurance was created to change that. With Pi, you get a quote tailored specifically to your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle and no hidden fees. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. Take 3 minutes to see how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or go to trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Ready for a sizzling football season? Take your game day parties to the next level with Napoleon Prestige Grills from Green Acres Nursery and Supply. Fire up the grill and score big with mouthwatering burgers, juicy steaks, and finger-licking wings. Napoleon Prestige Grills bring the heat and come complete with a lifetime warranty. Get your ultimate game day companion today. Visit your local Green Acres Nursery and Supply and elevate your tailgate experience with Napoleon Prestige Grills. Green Acres Nursery and Supply, your one-stop shop for grilling greatness this football season. Visit idategreenacres.com for the store near you. Game on.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Model Year End pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the Model Year End event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Good afternoon, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Today is the first day of Sacramento Kings training camp. We've got tons of coverage from yesterday's media day up right now at SactownSports.com and the Sactown Sports YouTube. You want to hear from Keegan Murray? We got it. You want to hear from De'Aaron Fox? We got it. We got 15 Sacramento Kings players. Hear from General Manager Monty McNair and so much more. Again, SactownSports.com and the Sactown Sports YouTube. Joining us right now from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline, Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop, we have Sacramento Kings All-Star Center, Domantas Sabonis.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
Nice enough to join us. You know, the Kings had 2 All-Stars last year.
Yeah. They had 2.
One of us joins us now. Domantas Sabonis is our guest. Hello, sir. How are you?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming
How's what can you tell us about your thumb?
It's good. Look.
Hey,
look at that. 2 functioning hands.
So no surgery, just rehabbing?
Rehab, yeah. There was an option to either do one or the other, and both were the same timeline, you know, so wasn't going to be able to play regardless. Whatever I did for purpose of national team. So anytime you don't have to put screws in anywhere in your body, better not to.
Yeah. What can you share with us about how hard it was to play through that injury last year? Because you were amazing with a broken thumb.
It was tough. You know, a lot of medicine and ice and stuff to not feel it sometimes. But
a few Advil here and there.
Exactly. They were like Skittles at a point.
I mean, you mentioned you had to skip out on the FIBA tournament. Obviously, actually, Lithuania did fantastic. I mean, did that hurt, though, to have to miss out on the summer basketball?
Definitely. You know, it's something I've done every summer since I was 14, 15 years old. So definitely hurts, you know, especially when you can't help them get a bid to the Olympics. You know, now now we got to play this Olympic qualifying tournament next year, which makes the summer even longer.
Right.
But the goal is to win it and then qualify for the Olympics.
DeMontis, you playing through that thumb injury. We know Keegan had some things. De'Aaron Fox had some things. How far do you think you guys playing through those injuries went towards establishing a culture and establishing the fact that, hey, we're about winning above anything else?
Oh, huge. I bet if any of us decided to sit out and actually heal, we probably wouldn't be here today. It would have been a whole different record, whole different situation that happened. So as players, when you look at the schedule, especially when my situation happened, I would have missed probably like 26 games, and I couldn't do that to myself. I couldn't do that to the team, and
was it a consideration at all when you first got hurt? Did you have to look at that?
Well, I missed that one Denver game and we played back to back. I was actually fighting with the medical staff. I was like, if I'm going to play regardless the back to back the second day, why can't I just play this day? Like, what is a day going to do at the end of the day?
Right.
They said it did a lot, but I was fighting to play that first game too.
We were talking with Chris Duarte earlier today, and I asked him the same question I'll ask you. It seemed like almost instantly after he was moved here to Sacramento, I saw you guys working out in L.A. with Doug and Coach Barbosa. What was that like? What was that experience like, and what does it feel like to be playing with Chris again?
It's awesome. We had this great connection in Indiana his rookie year. He speaks Spanish, I speak Spanish.
Right.
We just kind of got along very easily.
How many Spanish speakers are on the team now? Because I think he said Sasha also speaks Spanish.
Oh, Sasha maybe. Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to him Spanish, but I should throw some words maybe in response. No, it was awesome. I reached out to him right after. I was excited about the trade, and I brought him out to LA for a week, and then 3 weeks later, he's still with me. He's 2 weeks in LA, 1 week in Napa. I'm like, don't you have a family?
Yeah. That's awesome.
You had a great year. Obviously, the series against the Warriors didn't go the way you would have wanted. To what extent do you have to prepare for some teams maybe to defend you this year in a similar fashion to what you saw from the Warriors? I know not every team can do that, but to what extent do you have to prepare for that this offseason?
I think last series really showed us a way of how we can exploit things if they do guard us that way. And obviously on me improving my jump shot and our teammates getting open and trying to have options B and C to everything. You know what I mean? We really just came off those screens and shot threes, and they really kind of took that away from us. But coaches already put some stuff in, that we've heard about, and we're excited to see in training camp what else.
Was that a series where both teams knew each other and what you're running so well that it became a really, really tight series because they're familiar with your system, you're familiar with their system?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it was at one point it was just who's going to make it harder on the other team, and then let the best man win, and that's what it felt like.
This summer, I mean, you mentioned exactly how they covered you. Like, do you hyper focus on trying to, get that mid-range jump shot better, or is it still, business as usual, kind of working on the totality of your game?
It's definitely something that's been throughout my career, getting more
right.
range.
Yeah, we saw you extend your range out to the 3-point line last year,
and being consistent. But at the same time, I'm always put in a tough position. I'm kind of the main hub facilitator in the offense. So if I'm taking these mid ranges every time they open us, we technically don't have that offense anymore. Right. You know what I mean? So it's a balance that I have to figure out, and with my IQ, I just got to try and figure out when is the right time to shoot these open shots, when is the right time to get teams going and get some movement, sometimes it's the right time. Sometimes if it's open and I made a couple, maybe I pass it up and I go and get a teammate open because that's what you're feeling towards the game.
Yeah. Domantas Sabonis, our guest here. What was that first game like, the atmosphere, game one against the Warriors? Because some of us have been in Sacramento a long time. Yeah. We've never seen anything like that. How about you throughout your NBA career?
I mean, I think we all had goosebumps. Just talking about it, I got goosebumps. We had goosebumps in the hallway, and then when we came out, then it was like, wow. I don't think no one made a layup in the first 2 minutes. Everyone was like, what's going on? But it definitely helped. The fans have been amazing all year since the day I got here. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
You obviously, signed the big extension this offseason. What made that the right move to get out of the way now?
I'm happy here. Like I said, the day I got traded here, the fans made me feel like at home when I walked out, and they had a standing ovation, and all that stuff matters to me. And I can be here now for 5 more years, and we're building something special here. So last year was just the first year, so we got to keep improving.
How exciting is it for you to play now with Mistavezenkov because he moves well without the ball. We know you're a great passer, and he also is a pretty good rebounder, and you could use some help in that regard. So how exciting is it to think about playing with him this year?
I'm very excited. I'm sad during pickup this week I didn't get to play on his team, so hopefully in training camp me and him get to play more together and kind of work on that chemistry early.
Yeah.
How much have you seen of his game, and what do you think just in general he'll bring to
pretty
this
good
team?
shooter, right?
Yeah, pretty decent.
Great shooter, can move, super smart player. I mean, when you're the MVP of the EuroLeague,
right.
That's not easy to do. And by him doing it with his game with not many dribbles is very impressive.
Right. Yeah. You in some ways play like your dad. He's bigger. Is that just natural? You just evolved that way? Is it genetics, or did you maybe see him play with some video of him or watch him play at all?
Obviously I watched a lot of film on him, but like a lot of things my mom, my family are like, wow, like things you do, little gestures and stuff like,
oh yeah,
it's him. Like I don't even notice because I'm just playing, you know? So,
I mean, he was a lot of people don't know what a great player he was.
Yeah. So, I mean, I try to learn some things, but at a point, like he's one of a kind, I'm a completely different player, but if I could learn anything from him, like I try and pick up on it.
You've been in Sacramento now for a year and some change. Last year was your first full season. How are you liking the area? How are you getting adjusted? I know you spend a lot of time up in Napa.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it here. It's warm.
Right.
You got palm trees. The fans are good. It's sunny most of the time. So, yeah, I'm very excited. I love it here. My wife's family's down in LA, so everything's close.
Perfect.
But what's one area in which you think the Kings this year they will improve? We know in areas which they need to improve, but in your mind, hey, we will be better in this way. What would you say?
I would say in defense and physicality. For sure. We kind of unlocked something during the playoffs that we didn't know we had. And we just wasted so much energy on it that we didn't have that much on the offense, So if we condition ourselves to do that throughout a season, it starts tomorrow in training camp, So I feel like that everyone knows what we can do. Our coaching staff knows. We know. We saw how we felt out there. So we just got to do it from the jump now.
Mm-hmm. It seemed like 50 games was the goal for last season. Do you have something that you're hoping to accomplish as a team this year?
A goal, just
keep it going,
keep it going, keep it rolling, keep lighting the beam. Keep getting better.
What can you tell us about the in-season tournament?
Oh, I'm excited. I
Really?
came from Europe. We had that. We had that growing up. It's gonna be a lot of fun. No one in this. I feel like no one in this league wants to lose. We're all competitors, so like they're all.
That starts next month.
Yeah, that's a good point.
There's a lot of like rumors and stuff about not rumors, but like you hear people like these games and stuff, but like I think it's gonna be great. So no one's gonna want to lose. You're playing against a bad team. You're gonna want to win that game. So I think once that first team wins and lifts that trophy up, I think next year it'll be a whole different vibe towards it.
Awesome. Domas, we know you guys have a lot of duties and obligations today, getting pulled a lot of different directions.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
There you have it. Domantas Sabonis, very excited for this season. Wants to keep lighting the beam. Got the bag now. Light the beam.
Yeah, exactly. That's in that order. It's exciting to see him sign that contract in the offseason, and it was good to hear him kind of say that this felt like the right place for him to be, and he liked the idea of stability. And I was surprised to hear him say too at the end there, he's excited for the in-season tournament. I have heard a lot of takes on the in-season tournament. Haven't heard someone just flat out say they're excited for it. So that to me definitely caught my attention, because it doesn't really feel like anyone really knows what to expect. But Domas kind of laid it out that they have a similar thing kind of in European basketball that he's kind of aware of, I mean, I think it's an interesting experiment that the league's going to kind of go into.
Well, and I think hearing it from his perspective, a younger guy who obviously is from overseas as well, the way we've been thinking about this is all they care about is all NBA players care about is the ring, and they're older and they don't want to play extra games. Where if you look at it from a younger team's perspective or a younger player's perspective, hey man, I kind of got people like Draymond talk about, I can't get out of bed for games in March or whatever it is. This gives the teams a reason, hey, I care about this, and it's different. And I think ultimately these guys are competitive.
Yeah.
If you put something on the line, I mean, we saw when they started giving money to the kids, right? In the All-Star game, all of a sudden the All-Star game got way more interesting and way more competitive. So I think it's going to work for somebody. I don't know how much is going to work. And I think another part of this, why it might be tough to start, is if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be up against football. So I think that's one of the things, but football's only one day a week. So, you can maybe find some areas where, hey, there's nothing else on, and they're playing for something. Somebody's going to pop champagne at the end of this. Right. Now, my question is, let's say the Warriors win it, right? People are going to say, hey, Chris Paul got his ring. He got his ring now, so
there's no way.
There's no way.
If anything, they'll criticize him even more for it. Be like, wow, so you can win the in-season, but when it comes to push comes to shove,
I'll take Carmelo's gold medals over the in-season ring. I'll take that. All right, we got to get to a break. When we get back, we're talking to Domantas Sabonis and superstardom. Do you need a superstar to win the whole thing? And do the Kings have one? Also, duos. We're going to read off a list, and you tell us if the Kings duo is disrespected. It's Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Who do they decide on for the Super Bowl?
What do you mean, halftime act?
Yeah. I know that Taylor Swift.
Yeah, turned them down, right?
At what point do people turn on Taylor Swift to be like, why don't you lower your prices? And I understand the whole Ticketmaster thing, but what about the merch? Like, legit, do you have to make $1 billion? Could you make 500 million? Could you?
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
Yep, I'm looking at the pages right now.
Thomas's translation company just lost its only 2 Spanish speakers. Without the right replacements, he'll be in problemas.
Yeah, we'll have those ready. Tonight's going to be a late one.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own loan report.
The city of Sacramento offers grass conversion rebates to help you replace your thirsty lawn with a naturally water-efficient landscape. Whether you own a home or business in Sacramento, you may be eligible. Learn more at sacwaterwise.com.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
We are back. Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins, taking you up to 2 p.m. And I don't know if Whitey was listening, but I haven't forgotten because I'm coming for Whitey in a little bit here when, he had some things to say about Malik Monk, bringing up the whole 6-man thing. Yeah. You just don't do that, Whitey. Not in that situation, but I'm kidding.
It's an hour-long tease right here.
There you go. Exactly. We'll bring it up again. So before the break, we got to listen to Domantas Sabonis' interview, which was just great stuff. You can tell he's just excited to be a part of the culture here. Yeah. But it also made me think, we talk so much about De'Aaron Fox, right? And we talk a lot about, taking it back to just the seasons in general and how you end really matters, right? Over there in the Bay, they're worried about Klay Thompson because it did not end well. It did not end well for Jordan Poole. Right. They got him up out of there. Domantas Sabonis had kind of a tough go because there was the sternum stomp and Kevon Looney, who a lot of people thought, hey, you should be owning this guy. Yep. And Kevon Looney did a lot of work on him. I would say that at this point, this could be helping the Kings because as even though he got the bag, I think Domantas Sabonis is a little bit undersold right now.
100%. He's, I mean, as a team, they really are being undersold, but Domas especially, he was just flat out, he was disrespected last offseason. And the conversation that was had around him during the summer, especially after he signed his extension, was just, it was tough to hear because you could tell that a lot of people were drawing their conclusions based off of that playoff series and not off of the 82 games before that, because the Kings are nowhere near the 3 seed in the Western Conference if Domantas Sabonis didn't play the way he did last year.
Right.
I said, everyone who says De'Aaron Fox is the leader of this team is completely right. Last season, Domantas Sabonis was the MVP of the on-the-floor team. Like, yes, De'Aaron Fox was incredible in the fourth quarter, but
closer.
He set everything flow. Like, I used to call him the North Star last year because everything was like, he was the focus of everything. Everything went around him or through him. And I don't think that's going to change. And it changed during the playoffs because of the way that the Warriors were guarding him. But I still think that this year, if anything, I think all that talk is going to get to him. And I think it's going to be a positive for him.
Or lack thereof.
Yeah, no,
no one talking about him.
No one talking about him too, right? I think both of those conversations, or lack of conversation, is going to drive him this year to really come out and prove a point. Like, he averaged the most points of his career last year, averaged 12 rebounds a game. I believe he averaged the most assists he'd ever had in his career was 7 last year. And it still wasn't enough to really feel like or make people feel like he was deserving of the money he got. I think this year is going to be a revenge tour for him for a large portion of this season. I think he's going to go out every single night and show just how ridiculous he is, because it's crazy to say, but there's really no one else in the league who plays the way he does except for Nikola Jokic.
Wow.
And he does it Jokic does it at a level that almost doesn't feel real.
Sure.
But Domas can do his good impression of it. And I think that should be good enough to have this team in the conversation, like we started to talk about at the top of the show. Like, I think that can have them in the conversation for one of the best teams in the Western Conference.
How much do you think that the whole I'm going to give him space to shoot thing? Because, okay, well, let me start here.
Yeah.
Do you hoop? Do you hoop?
Yes. All right. I should say I did in my time. For sure. I put my time in.
Cool. So Hooper here as well. I almost went the whole show, and I know I have a couple buddies listening waiting for me to say I tore my Achilles in June. So
this past June?
Yes. So I'm on the way back. I got the boot off.
You're on your Aaron Rodgers stuff right now.
I got the boot off about 3 weeks ago. I golfed last weekend at the wedding. I'm back.
Nice.
I'm trying to get back. I'm trying to get back. So, you have so much where you want to prove, okay, I can shoot. Sure. And a lot of times when you're hooping, I like it to be contested.
Yeah.
I like you in my grill. If someone
I'm not
comes
like that,
and if
I
ever end up hooping with you
and
you pull this on me, I'm going to be very upset.
Gotcha.
Because when someone says, no, he good. He good.
Leave him.
I start clank master flexing the whole time. But if someone believes in me and it's just no thinking.
Close out. You're like, just
I'm goody.
let it fly.
I'm goody. And I feel like
crazy.
DeMontis, some of that
no, for sure,
was in his mind.
Absolutely.
When was it? It was later in the series where he just said, I'm just going to shoot it.
Yeah.
And he was hitting.
Yes.
And he was
Absolutely.
hitting. So I think that the series was just short enough.
Right.
Where they could get away with it. I think if there was two more games, they wouldn't have been able to do that niche-y defense that, honestly, if anybody knows how to do it, it's Draymond.
Right.
Because they don't even leave the key when Draymond's got the rock with the backpack three.
Yeah,
so
it probably felt good for him.
Oh, no, he felt good to flip
he was
it.
like,
It felt good
I
to
know
flip
this.
it.
He's like, I know this works.
Yeah, he's like, oh, no. You get from out there.
Yeah.
You get, which is funny because, really, Draymond? Really, you're not gonna, and then the both of them just not guarding each other. Yeah, I'm surprised there weren't
Spider-Man memes going around.
I'm surprised there weren't more defensive 3-second in the key calls. So we want to get to this ranking. This is from Sportsnet.ca, and they are ranking the duos.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to tell me, where the disrespect happens.
Okay, where it starts. All right,
and I'm going to start with the top.
Okay,
and there's a reason for that.
Number
1, Jokic and Jamal Murray. Number 2, Giannis and Dame.
Sure.
Number 3, KD and Booker.
Book's the number 1.
Boogie's the number 1? Sure. 1A, 1B. 1A, 1B. Number 4, Stephen Clay.
All right, we can stop there.
It's a little crazy.
That's kind of wild.
And I mean this as respectfully to Clay as possible.
Yeah, that's kind of wild.
That's a little, what are we, 70-30 there? 60-40 on Steph?
No, I think Steph's doing like 90-10.
No.
Steph's carrying a lot of weight. I mean, Clay is still a dynamite shooter, but even that's fallen off a little. His defense is what made him like that upper echelon player, and that's
I do think Clay's going to have a revenge season.
I hope he does. I really hope he does.
Well.
Clay's the only
Stephen
warrior
Wiggins at this point.
It could, or
That's
Stephen Wiggins.
Yeah.
It's Stephen somebody.
Sure, Stephen somebody else. I can hear that as the number 4. I'm okay with that at the end of the day, I guess.
Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, number 5.
That's fine. That's fine. Like, again, if we're talking against Fox and Sabonis, like the pedigree, I guess is what'll speak louder for them.
Number 6, LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
Sure. Again, if we're talking in a playoff series, like those two guys, if you're going against them, you're a lot more afraid of those two. But, obviously health plays a very, very large factor in those two.
7, Jimmy Butler and Bam.
Stop. See, this is where we can stop.
If you're on the YouTube, Chris is getting up and leaving.
This is where
done.
I gotta start looking around. I gotta start clearing the room.
He's hitting the Birdman. Is we finished or is we done?
Finish or is we done? Okay, because all 3 of y'all. Okay, because for me, it's like Sabonis and Bam. At worst, it's a wash. At best, I think Sabonis is just a step above Bam, and I think the third team All NBA center kind of spoke to that. Jimmy Butler. A lot of revisionist history has happened with this Miami Heat team. Yeah. People forget that they barely sneaked into the playoffs.
Just like Spider-Man 3, emo Jimmy Butler.
He really is.
He might be crazy. All right,
he
number
really
8.
Is on the Spider-Man 3 stuff.
Kawhi and Paul George.
This is
better on paper.
Yeah, this is way better on paper. And this is, again, like, if these fools if they're healthy, sure, I'm willing to hear the argument, but you got to factor in health, and there's just no way they're as reliable as Fox and Sabonis.
Number 9, Fox and Sabonis.
Okay. See, that's not as long as they're top 10, I'm cool, but I feel like there's a lot of potential for them to move up really significantly in this list.
Joel Embiid, number 10, and James Harden. So the one duo they're better than, you don't even know if one of the dudes is going to play. This is why the Kings have been walking around with that quiet swagger, thinking, all right, you guys thought it was a fluke? We'll show you.
Yeah,
because this is crazy to me.
Yeah. 2 All-Stars, 2 All-NBA guys, and for them to be not – I mean, you have to – I honestly, now I'm flipping my mind. You almost do have to put them above some of those other injury-laden duos because that's a huge fact. Like, availability for your team. It's a cliche, but the best ability is availability. Like, those guys were incredibly available for their teams and came up every single time their team needed them last year. Fox or Sabonis didn't have it on a given night. Guess what? That meant the Kings weren't going to win that night.
Yeah.
And so there's so many of those other combinations of guys that have some other teammates to rely on. I just feel like Fox and Sabonis, they'll have their time. I think they'll move up that list if we check this at the same time next year, but that is a little wild.
Yeah. Got to get to a break. Stiles and Watkins, when we get back, who worries you most in the West? Sactown Sports. We'll be right back.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
At Ashton & Price, we get injury victims to yes. Experience, yes. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years. No more insurance companies? Yes. Our clients focus on getting better, and we handle all the rest. Results? Yes. We've collected over $100 million for injury victims. No fee until we win? Yes. Our clients pay nothing until we win. Ashton & Price, the best at getting to yes. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Good Guys Heating and Cooling is proud to announce their partnership with Susan G. Komen to raise money and awareness for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. For the entire month of October, Good Guys is committed to donating $10 of every $69 seasonal tune-up performed and $250 for every heating and air system replaced to Susan G. Komen. Call Good Guys Heating and Cooling now to schedule your tune-up and help save lives. 530-GOOD-AIR or online at goodguysheatingcooling.com. Best service, best price, guaranteed. And that's no bull. License number 1057-618.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
For 75 years, the Keys family from Naturewood Home Furnishings has been serving families just like yours and mine. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with Golf to Go. The Naturewood team takes great pride and significant effort to offer Northern California families a vast selection of home furnishings, most of which are made right here in this country. The kitchen table, which we purchased so many years ago, speaks to the enduring quality of the Naturewood product lines. We treasure memories made seated around that table with family and friends for birthday celebrations, school projects, and, well, many late-night meals when the day just got away from us. Naturewood has provided thousands with home furnishings that not only last for generations, but also lead to everlasting memories of cherished times. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings now during their 75th anniversary sale and get started making your own brand of memories. Meet the Keys family at Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas. Actual Pie customer.
As a small business, we're always looking for ways that we can offer the quality product and get some cost savings.
Meet Michelle from J.J. Pfister Distilling Company, a small business in California. When looking for workers' comp coverage tailored to the company's needs, she discovered Pie Insurance.
We heard about Pie Insurance being geared for a small business, gave Pie a call, and ended up switching.
Is your small business overpaying for workers' comp insurance? See how much you could save at trypie.com. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate, so your workers' comp audit experience is simplified.
We saved about 30% off of our workers' comp insurance when we switched to Pie.
It's as easy as pie to get the savings you deserve. What are you waiting for? Ask your agent for Pie, or get a quote in 3 minutes at trypie.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam Team.
Should we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Good afternoon, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Today is the first day of Sacramento Kings training camp. We've got tons of coverage from yesterday's Kings Media Day right now at SactownSports.com and the Sactown Sports YouTube page. You want to hear from Keegan Murray? We got it. Domantas Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox, 15 Sacramento Kings players, Monty McNair, and more. Again, SactownSports.com and the Sactown Sports YouTube. Major League Baseball playoffs are underway today. Right now, the Texas Rangers lead the Tampa Bay Rays 1-0 after 3 innings. And in a half hour, the Blue Jays and Twins will begin Game 1 of their wild card series. Those are your headlines. Reminder, all guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Now let's return for the final hour here with Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sactown Sports.
We are back, Sactown Sports. One more hour with you. You got Stiles and Watkins taking you up to 2 p.m. as we get into the question of superstardom. Do the Kings have a superstar?
Superstar, I'm going to say no. I think that superstar is kind of reserved for like, I don't know, it kind of fluctuates, but like 5 to 7 to possibly 10 like real superstars are in the NBA, and even 10 might be too many. But to me, superstar is like the final evolution that you can get to. And, I think De'Aaron can get there. Domas, I just don't think he can, because also part of superstardom, sorry to complicate your question, but part of superstardom is also like notoriety. Like, James Harden or Russell Westbrook might be considered a superstar for longer than what their on the floor performance might dictate, because of just the level of pull and gravity that they have. But no, I to answer your question shortly, I would not say the Kings have a superstar right now.
So I think what's confusing about that question, or this follow-up question, which would be, do you need a superstar to win the title? Because I think that answer is yes. I think if you look at the last champions, they all have a superstar. Right. You don't need a super team, but you need a superstar. And the thing is, De'Aaron could continue to ascend into that.
Exactly.
Right? I think that when the Warriors got it done, and now I've been on with you for about 3 hours now, and now I'm taking all your De'Aaron Steph comps, because I don't think that was Steph a superstar in 2014, 2015, or I think he got there.
He got there.
He won the MVP. They went to the finals and they won it.
Yep.
And then unanimous.
The rest is literally history.
Exactly. So I don't think that De'Aaron is there yet, but I see no reason that he couldn't ascend to that this year, which would then put the Kings in that category.
It's your conversation, so right? And it's kind of a chicken or the egg thing. Which one comes first? Is it superstardom, or is it success leads you to all of this extra notoriety, all this extra attention, and then you become the superstar?
Right. And with James Harden kind of on the way down, the NBA needs a new lefty, because us lefties got to stick together, and there's no reason that De'Aaron can't be the most notable lefty guard in the league.
No, and frankly, too, like Ja Morant kind of opened up that explosive young guard conversation as well. And it doesn't, like, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you could argue is a lot closer than De'Aaron, but also I'm going to be able to pull this card while I can, because I can't believe I can say it. I think De'Aaron's in a bigger market than what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is in. So I would give him, and also being in the Pacific Division, frankly, I do think when you're playing the Warriors, when you're playing the Lakers a lot, and the Phoenix Suns this season, you're going to get a lot more attention. So I would say De'Aaron's probably next one up if he continues to play the way he did last year, for sure.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I don't think it's the same as championship windows or superstar windows, because you can ascend whenever. I mean, we saw with Geno Smith, they wrote me off. I didn't write back though. So it's not that it can't happen, but I do think that De'Aaron is tired of does not want to be passed by, right? I think he grabs his lunch pail and he goes to work.
He does,
but I think he also feels, hey, people are going to eventually get to know who I am.
He's a new Clutch client.
Oh, he is?
He is. Yeah, last year became a Clutch client.
Well, let's see how that works.
Yeah,
okay.
Hopefully it works in our favor.
I think it will. But also he understands that it takes more than, not that this was his biggest year.
Yeah.
You got to do it for more than 1 year, and your team has to continue to be good.
Yeah, got to do it on a bigger stage,
on
too.
top of Shai being in a smaller market, they're behind the Kings in terms of their window. So there are only, again, if you go through, and yes, the West is filled with stars, but you have the brand name of the Warriors. To be honest with you, Clippers, are we really putting them?
I think at this point they're slept on, in whether it be for right or like. I just think that everybody's in a wait and see and wake me up when they actually are healthy kind of conversation with them.
You have the Suns, who, you know what? Now that I think about it, the Lakers, they don't really have a star as much as they want Austin Reeves to be one. I'm not putting him, I'm not disrespecting De'Aaron like that.
Not a fan of D'Angelo Russell?
No,
I'm not either.
Another lefty, by the way. But D'Lo is like watching The Matrix. He just moves way too slow.
I can't stand D'Angelo Russell.
I can't
He's my least
do
favorite
it.
player to watch in the NBA.
Are we sure that Devin Booker is a bigger star than De'Aaron?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
By how much?
I wouldn't say it's that much. Like, I don't think Booker has ascended really to like that mega star level. Like, he's not, he's got some pull. He dated Kendall Jenner, as I was looking for Simone because Simone's got her Kendall Jenner roster shirt on where it's everybody Kendall Jenner's been with. But anyways, I digress. He's got some notoriety, definitely more than De'Aaron, but I don't think he's at that like, where Ja was even. Like, I think because Booker's been in the league for so long, we forget that he's like 27 or whatever he is. I don't think that I don't think De'Aaron is, I don't think that level is unobtainable for De'Aaron is what I'd say. I would say he's not there, but I would say he could get there with a really good season because, frankly, I do think KD will take some of the shine away from Booker if they have success.
No, he will, and I think that's what's going to be tough. It's going to be good for De'Aaron because he'll have more shine.
Yes.
But at the same time, there's going to be the Suns who Devin Booker's going to have an opportunity, and I don't really know how it's going to look, but they obviously have better odds to win the whole thing. And if you win the whole thing, now you become a superstar.
Right.
So, Dame was able to do it. Dame had a lot of moments, and Dame's moments actually looked very similar to some of De'Aaron Fox's about being clutch in those moments. So it's not impossible.
No.
Right?
No, it's definitely not.
It's not impossible. Now Dame has left, so you have another star guard slot open in the West. But I do think that and we've talked about narratives, we talked about ceilings. I'm going to do another one. I'm going to go ahead and either put Kevin Durant on the Kings or I'm going to put De'Aaron Fox on the Suns.
Okay.
And I don't think the odds change that much, right? I think that they're still in a position where that's why it's hard to compare Devin Booker to De'Aaron because I think you're right.
In different situations.
It's by a little bit, but if you put De'Aaron on the Suns, I think everybody is still thinking
that's crazy.
The Suns are going to do some damage.
Enough for sure. And to use that same example, if you put KD on the Kings, for sure. There's the obvious, okay, Kings now have a superstar. Are they in play? Right. But also you probably talk a lot more about, okay, well, KD is 36, 35, 36 years old, been through some injury. I feel like that conversation of how much you're going to rely on him kind of becomes a lot bigger of a conversation. And I don't know. I think De'Aaron does have a lot of things working for him, though. It made me think of, what his marketability is. And it's cliche, but I think that his speed is really something that, like, you could sell kids on that. Like, if you're looking for, again, making him into a superstar, you've got to be able to market him. I think De'Aaron Fox, fastest player in the league, is an easy sell to a lot of the country because he may not have the explosive dunks. He might not be pulling from 30.
Right.
But the fact that he's not doing those things almost makes him a rarer sight. It makes it almost more of like, this is something special that you don't really see in the NBA anymore.
It would be different because, typically it's football where, hey, he runs, what does he run the 40 in?
Exactly.
You don't really say, well, how fast can he dribble with the ball?
Right. We get those the clock of De'Aaron Fox from coast to coast is 3.4 seconds.
They used to do that with Westbrook.
Right.
They did that a little bit. But you know what? You do bring up a good point because is De'Aaron Fox suffering from, well, one, not dating a Jenner, right? Because I don't think Devin Booker is as different in terms of he doesn't have a thing. Right?
Yeah.
He doesn't have a thing.
No.
He's not the dunker. Nope. He doesn't pull up from 30. He doesn't have a thing. And a lot of times it's easier to market a thing.
Yes, absolutely. It's just how it works.
Yeah.
Like Devin Booker, I think his thing is honestly being a good-looking dude who can ball.
And then are we talking about Devin Booker differently if he didn't drop the 70?
Yeah, I mean, I think the conversation changes also if he didn't make the final. Like if Phoenix has never made the finals, which obviously they did and came pretty close to winning one. But I think that Booker, you could argue from a marketing perspective, doesn't really have that thing that draws your attention. Like he's a mid-range guy. He doesn't. You look at his 3-point percentages. They're honestly pretty shocking. They're like 33, 32% from three. It's really
he's a yapper too, though.
Big time.
He was yapping at Paul George.
Him and Luka got beef.
So maybe that's part of it. And again, you have a De'Aaron Fox, that quiet superstar who, because here's the difference. Steph is quiet, but that dude is a showman.
His actions are loud.
He's doing a bunch of stuff on the court.
Crib walk on your logo.
He's doing the Harlem Shake.
It's like,
So you can market those moments.
Absolutely.
And we want people to be authentic. That's what we always ask. But yeah, so if you're De'Aaron Fox, I think he's thinking, no, I don't have a shtick, so I'm just going to win.
Yeah. That's going to be his thing.
And that's going to be my thing.
That's a pretty good thing.
I won, and we lit the beam, and I turned the culture of Sacramento on its head.
100%.
So, all right, we got to get to a break. Stiles and Watkins, when we get back, we're going to swap back over to the NFL. What did we learn from week 4? I learned one thing. The San Francisco 49ers, pretty darn good. We'll be right back. Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Imagine it's the final game of the season, but your symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, are making a comeback. What should you do? Keep managing your constipation with belly pain the same old way? Or try getting ahead of your symptoms by talking to your doctor about Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
We are back. Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins. A little bit of Chance the Rapper.
Yes, sir.
We talk about fumbling the bag.
Yeah.
I mean, what happened?
With Chance?
Yeah.
Dude, people really soured on him really quickly. Like, he got the corny tag really quick.
And he tried to own it.
Yeah.
But that cold shower song might be one of the worst songs I've ever heard.
I think it's Hot Shot.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Yeah, I blocked that out of my brain.
It was not good. I completely forgot about that song. That song was so annoying. That was and I think that album really put him off. But this right here, Acid Rap, fantastic mixtape.
Yes.
Fantastic.
You know what? I think what Chance suffered from is very similar, and I wouldn't put 50 Cent in the same category because 50 Cent had a great career after it. But when you have that big hit, whether it's a whole album or just a song, and it's hard to get back what you had. I think Chance spent his whole career trying to get back to acid rap. And I would even say Coloring Book. Coloring Book.
Yeah, Coloring Book's
and
good.
then he just couldn't do – I think he just hit a writer's block and just decided to say, I love my wife and call it a day. And it's unfortunate.
That's what
I love my wife.
was about.
He made it. Like, it's okay.
He made it.
You got the one album.
Sure. No, yeah.
You got
it's
no
good.
problems. They're going to be playing that 20 years from now.
That was the beginning of the end for me. No problems.
Why?
It was like him performing it on Ellen and stuff. And I was like, you
got to get the bag.
For sure. Hey, no shot at him getting the bag for sure. And yeah, he definitely made it. But I think that that's a common problem that we find with a lot of hip hop artists, especially in these days. It's like, you're never as hungry as what you were when you were on the come up. And then once you make it, you get even just a little bit of success. You start to taste what that other lifestyle is like. And you kind of you lose what initially made you you.
And he got kids now.
He does.
He just wants to chill. Man. As they say, it's hard to stay hungry when you're well fed. And
for sure.
Exactly what happened to Chance.
That's great.
And you know who else has been well fed? Christian McCaffrey.
Oh my gosh.
Christian McCaffrey, CMC for MVP.
Yeah.
You're in on that train? Or?
I am right now, but I asked Biederman I kind of knew what the answer was going to be, but it's going to be really tough, almost impossible for him to win MVP. But the way he's playing right now, I think you have to put him at least in the conversation a month in, of course.
So when are they going to, and I know there's the Offensive Player of the Year award, but why continue this charade? We're going to make a whole list.
Yeah.
And Kyle already said we know baseball because of the TV money, but why do they continue to call the MVP the MVP? Just say best quarterback.
Best quarterback award.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Why?
It sounds better.
Me.
It's just because it sounds better and it makes them seem like they're more important than or makes the award seem more important than what it
just
actually
in case.
Is. I guess, yeah, that's really what it is. In case because the thing is, it takes 2 to 3 quarterbacks to get hurt before it's okay. What did Cooper Kupp do? Okay, what did Christian McCaffrey do? Okay, and then even it's almost like the Heisman too, where it's like every year it feels like they bring in some defensive guy who it's like, a defensive player hasn't won since Woodson won in whatever year, 1997, and it's not going to happen. Manti Te'o is not going to lift that trophy anytime soon. Like it's just a charade, but it's also very NFL that they try and make it seem like it's this all-inclusive award, but in reality, we know this entire show is just about quarterback.
Exactly. So when you look at the Niners and the takeaways from Week 4, there's nothing really to take away from the game against the Cardinals. Besides, Brock played really well. Yeah. Is Brock ascending? There will be some naysayers out there that say, well, the Cardinals aren't very good, but the Cardinals have been giving teams headaches. Yeah. Right? They've been giving team headaches.
They were impressive. If I learned anything from that Niners game, it's Josh Dobbs and James Conner. It's not nothing.
Right.
It's not nothing. Like I've seen a lot worse offensive production out of guys, and Josh Dobbs and James Conner looked a lot better than Kenny Pickett and Najee Harris did in Week 1. Like, to me, again, if there's any big takeaway from that game, to me, it's just that the Cardinals are kind of competent.
Yeah, and they're going to get Kyler back. Yeah. So that second time around, they play the Niners. It might be interesting.
Later in the year.
And you have the beef with Connor and Hufanga, where
that was so weird.
Connor tried to put his finger in his helmet. What are you
Is
doing?
that what it was?
No,
Because I was trying to figure it out. I was like, where did this come from? Because they were about to swing.
Hufanga didn't know what it was.
Oh, okay.
See, I don't know if I believe that, though.
That's true.
I think he just maybe didn't want to say.
Seems like a line stepper.
Yeah,
he
exactly.
Seems like somebody
who's like, I don't know, especially when you won.
Yeah.
You kind of, hey, I'm not going to deal with that because we won.
Yeah.
Might have been different if they lost. But, okay, so this week, Sunday Night Football, that's supposed to be when it starts to get tough for the Niners.
Yes, right.
Because you get the Cowboys, then you got to go to Cleveland. I wouldn't sleep on the Browns just about being annoying.
Yep.
Right.
That defense is legit. I mean,
it is legit.
Myles Garrett's going to eat that right side of the Niners line up if he sees them.
It is legit. Then you have the Vikings. You got to go to Minnesota. And
I'd rather not talk about that right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I do have Justin Jefferson on my fantasy team. So
Vikings won last week, Chris.
That's right.
They technically did. Kirk tried to throw it away.
So as a Vikings fan, would you rather be where you are or just stink?
Stink. I always say
this
that
purgatory's
the worst
rough,
thing. It's the worst thing. It's the worst thing that you could be in any sport, not just in football, but especially in football. Is middling, is okay, is
your
frisky.
Entire existence is being down 6, no timeouts, 1 minute to play,
Pretty
and
much.
needing to go 75 yards.
Yeah, and sometimes Kirk comes through. Sometimes he completely just leaves a lot to be wanted, and it's a very, very frustrating lifestyle.
It's just bizarre because the NFL doesn't have a lottery.
Yeah.
So you can easily pan it out. Now, you might miss on whoever you draft, but you don't have to worry about stinking and then not getting a guy. Right. You can get a guy.
Right.
So go get a guy.
That's what I always say. I mean, it's going to suck. There's nothing worse than when your football team is just unwatchable and you're 3-13. Right. Like, nobody's going to tune in for, what is it now, 18 weeks of your team doing absolutely nothing and having no current aspirations. But you gotta sometimes, you gotta suck it in order to get to the other side of it.
You've seen, we know now, and not that Kirk Cousins has played bad at all.
No.
I don't think it's been. They cannot stop anybody.
No.
So
they keep turning the ball.
That's a big issue. So if you're the Niners, the Vikings, the problem is the Vikings are just good enough to make sure nobody sleeps on them.
Yeah.
But they're not good enough to actually beat those teams.
Do damage, right. Yeah, their offense is great.
Everybody
but to your point,
gets
their
up for
defense can't stop
Vikings because it's one of those teams where they're not bad enough to where it still looks good when you beat them.
Yeah.
They're just good enough to where, hey, they did smash the Vikings.
And if you sleep on them, they could get you.
We can get you.
They can get you on a given day.
You can get got.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to happen.
It's like Marshawn. I'm going to get got more. Or they going to get got more than I get got,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, so you got the Cowboys and Niners.
Yeah, can't wait for that.
And then you have the Niners going to the dog pound. Then you have them going to Minnesota. After that, the Bengals, I don't even know if that's a good game.
Who knows?
And then after that, you have the Jags. I guess my point is, and the Bucs have looked
it's not easy. And then you got the Seahawks, you got the Eagles game,
the
sandwiched
Seahawks,
in between.
the Eagles. But am I just drinking the Kool-Aid, or I don't know when the Niners are going to be tested. When I'm watching, the eye test is telling me when these teams are playing each other, right, versus when the Niners, it just looks different.
It does.
It hits different right now.
Yes, it looks like they're literally in a class by themselves. I mean, going into the week, it was, Miami was coming off the 70-point performance. They got humbled big time this weekend. It was them. It was the Eagles to an extent, but even they weren't winning pretty. The Cowboys obviously had just lost to the Cardinals. After this weekend, it's looking like, I mean, the Eagles again, just unimpressive. They still don't look like the team that they were last year. Cowboys a little bit of a bounce back, but still we've seen that there's some cracks in that armor. And then the Dolphins again, they look like they're rough. And so, yeah, I mean, to your point, I really don't see this. I think is going to be the most legitimate test the Niners get for a really long time. But it's really, if you're looking at that schedule, it's them. It's this weekend, and then it's really that Eagles game in what is that, week 13?
Yeah,
that those are going to be the two games to me that are the only ones that really matter for the Niners this year. How you stack up in those games, to me, will directly dictate how you're going to address the postseason.
Well. And it seems like a conversation that we had about the Eagles last year because they steamrolled.
Their schedule was terrible.
And it felt, okay, well, when are you going to be tested? Who knows? But I don't think anybody's complaining about that. And how about Dak? Oh, you're just trying to piss me off. Dak, will you stop it? Nobody is scared of you, Dak.
No.
Who are you taking right now, Dak or Brock Purdy?
Right now?
Right now.
I think my silence is, I mean, the fact that I'm not just screaming Dak, I think says enough. It's a conversation for sure. I think it depends on the situation, but right now I'm taking Brock just with how he looks right now.
The thing about,
I think Dak's got some capabilities, but he just never puts it together.
The thing about Dak that's funny is that he puts himself in these situations where something is going to be so memeable if it doesn't go well. Can you imagine hearing, oh, you're trying to make me mad. Thank you for that. If they get their doors blown off and Dak throws about 4 picks, Dak, we're going to keep on taking you off there. How about that? So,
it was brought on himself with how poorly he played against the Cardinals. That pick in the end zone was, there's no justification for it. He looked ridiculous, and there's no excuse for his team to lose to a team like the Cardinals.
It's just bad, and I'm never going to believe in the Cowboys until they actually do something. And
I don't believe in Mike McCarthy either.
I don't even know if it's going to be, and maybe I'm getting disrespectful here. Maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, but I don't even know if it's going to be close. I really don't.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, that Cowboys defense is definitely taking a step back without Trayvon Diggs. They're not nearly as scary, and it wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't surprise me because the part that we forget, or maybe not forget, but just it's not talked about enough with the Niners because of the fact that Kyle Shanahan's the one running it and everyone talks about the offense. But that defense is also elite, if not as elite as their offense. And that's the thing that really sets them apart is not only can you just not keep up with their offense, but the Niners defense isn't going to allow you to get into a shootout with them.
Right. So, I mean, we'll see. But, and by the way, the Cowboys bounced back, but the Patriots are garbage.
Terrible.
They're not good.
Terrible.
They're not good. So we'll see if the Niners actually do have a test or get a test. We got to get to a break, Stiles and Watkins. When we get back, if it's not the NFC team, if it's not the Cowboys, if it's not the Eagles, let's talk about the AFC. Are we so worried about the AFC at all? Am I drinking too much Kool-Aid? We'll find out. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award? Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit KHTK.com.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own one report.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It's time now for the Silver and Black Report, brought to you by ACR Home Services. For all your roofing and solar needs, visit ACRHomeservices.com. Another tough one for the Silver and Black as they are tired of seeing Khalil Mack, who tormented them with 6 sacks of rookie quarterback Aiden O'Connell, who was filling in for the injured Jimmy G. O'Connell battled the team back, but a late pick stopped the comeback, and now the Silver and Black are just 1-3. Up next, they return home for a Monday night game against the Packers. Let ACR Home Services be your one-stop shop for all your home needs, starting with unbeatable roofing services. Right now, get a new roof and receive $1,000 off that roof. So sign up today and save with no payment for up to 12 months. And ACR is more than just a roofing company. Whether it's roofing, solar, electrical work, you name it, when you choose ACR Home Services, you're not just getting a contractor, you're partnering with a team that's invested in your satisfaction. That's ACR Home Services.
For a business to thrive, there needs to be a constant stream of new customers. This happens through strong lead generation. Did you know that lead generation is one of the most important tools of any marketing campaign? Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products and services to them. To get started today, contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results today.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
Good afternoon, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and these are your Sactown Sports headlines. Today is the first day of Sacramento Kings training camp. We've got tons of coverage from yesterday's Kings Media Day up right now at the Sactown Sports YouTube page and at SactownSports.com. You want to hear from Keegan Murray? We got it. Domantas Sabonis, it's there. De'Aaron Fox, 15 Sacramento Kings players. We also talked to General Manager Monty McNair and more. In baseball, the playoffs are getting started right about now. Texas is leading Tampa Bay 2-0 in Game 1 of their wild card series. That's in the 5th inning. And the Blue Jays and Twins are getting ready to start right about now. Those are your headlines. Reminder, all guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. It's time for the final half hour here with Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sactown Sports.
We are back. Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins. Yet another remake.
I know.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Come
I pointed
on,
at
man.
you. I was like, he's killing it. He's killing it.
Come on. No more remakes. No, I don't mind them.
What? The song is delicious.
No, it's great as long
It's a
as
good
you give your your kudos
flowers.
to your flowers to the initial.
And this is like an
song.
OG.
That's
like,
true.
This is like the OG of
That's
OG.
true. That's true. And to be fair, I mean, even though it got big on TikTok, all right, it got good and it got big, so we'll take it. Doesn't matter how. It doesn't matter how. But the TikTok thing
that's
has been
almost
nuts,
a different.
man.
That like there's now artists, and I think Drake kind of started the trend of it. But like there's artists now that almost make music, and it feels like it's exclusively to try and make it a TikTok banger.
Without a doubt.
That's all Doja Cat is at this point.
Honestly,
Yes.
that's a
I mean, I
great
can't
shout.
even lie to you. I mean, I'm kind of popping on TikTok.
Really?
Oh my
I had
God.
a couple.
Look at me, Louie.
It just took 3.5 hours. We buried the lead.
You know, I had a couple that popped for me. I've been on a cold streak, but we're trying to get back. We're trying to get back. So,
What kind of numbers are we talking? Don't be shy.
So my biggest, I did 600K for a video with my cat.
Those are
right.
big
I don't know
numbers.
why that even popped. Then I did one last year comparing basically a branding thing that I noticed between Jalen Hurts and Brock Purdy. So when you went I went a little bit more, I wouldn't say political, but just, hey, this looks interesting to me. And that one popped. And then my biggest one, you're going to love this. I don't know if people remember this from the pandemic, but I continue to watch it. All American, that was on the CW, then went to Netflix. The show All American just went completely off the rails, right? And I'm for some reason I like bad television, so I record it, and it's just a terrible clip from All American where he punches a dresser, and it just looks ridiculous.
Yeah,
over 1 million views.
Wow,
it makes no sense.
Just a clip,
I'm
no
scared
sense.
of you. I'm scared of you.
You know, so my algorithm is all messed up because people don't know what they're going to get. It's going to be a cat video.
Exactly.
It's going to be Brock Purdy, or it's going to be All American, but. You know, I got some in the chamber.
That's incredible.
I'm hoping to have another hit before the end of the year.
For sure.
But it's been a little ice baby lately.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's huge. I'm like, I've tried to dip my toe. I've never made a TikTok, but I know that's the thing is I hear that's where all the content's at nowadays. And you know, again, you talk about how we're from the same era a little bit. I came up in the Vine era, like that was huge. And I don't know, once that left me, I think it really scarred me. And I'm not, you know, the second TikTok became popping, everyone was like, this is Vine 2.0. And I was like, you kids, like, y'all don't understand.
Here's the question. We've been talking about fumbles all day, right? Bigger fumble, Vine to TikTok or Skype to Zoom?
Oh, no. I can go all day on this. You don't understand. When the pandemic's first, I was like, people were like, oh, yeah, hit me on a Zoom link. I said, what is Zoom?
Right.
Like, y'all ain't never done, like, Skype was where they had.
It's gone.
Skype was first and goal at they had the biggest advantage, the biggest head start of anyone I've ever seen.
This is what you were training for.
Literally.
This is what you were working for.
Literally, this is your entire company is based off of this.
Yeah.
And just got blown out. If I were to tell someone, hey, like, can you Skype me later? That'd be like saying, hey, hit me up on my AOL password.
Right, mine as well.
Or my AOL email. Like, it's like, what are you even talking about, Grandpa?
I can't believe it, man. I would say that, based on, I think it's interesting. I don't know. Vine got shut down. Vine did have it all, but I would say Skype, you fumbled because you literally did one thing.
Yeah, you did one. Literally,
you had one job.
You had one job,
and you could not figure it out. All right, who else is fumbling? A lot of these AFC teams.
Yeah.
And, you know, talking about the Niners and how much it's been about, well, if they get through the NFC, they got to deal with the Chiefs and they got to deal with the Bills.
Yeah.
Are you still worried about that?
Chiefs, not so much. The Bills are starting to get my attention for sure. I mean, you know, after that week one, it was definitely looking sketchy for how this Bills season would go. But credit to Josh Allen, he's turned it around. Hasn't had another terrible performance like that week one again. And their defense, I know they lost Tre'Davious White, who that could end up being a really big loss for them in the same way that Trayvon Diggs was a big loss for the Cowboys defense. But if the Bills defense can be legit, like, you know, a top 10 defense, I don't think they have to be as elite as the Niners, but to me, that's a team where you can really see how if things go right on their day, they could give the Niners problems. But I'm past the Chiefs. Their lack of receivers is that's going to be the death of them.
They hit their limit. Yeah. The Chiefs, what it feels, and look, we could have egg on our face if they end up turning it around.
If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Pat.
Exactly. But the Chiefs, to me, they were trying to figure out how far can Patrick Mahomes take us with nobody, and they're finally finding, okay, here's our limit.
Yeah,
now
and it'll probably be
it's like a kid, it's like a toddler, right? How much can I tick my parent off before they really get upset?
Or they go full name on you.
Yes. And now you're finding out where the line is. The thing about the Bills, to me, you got to think that, let's say it was Niners-Bills, right?
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen going to give that thing up probably 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind he's getting picked off at least twice if they play the Niners.
For sure. Well, and that also kind of becomes a lot similar to like a Kings-Warriors conversation where it's, again, you have this team with a surplus of experience. The Niners have been, conference championship, Super Bowl, whatever. It's been the past 8 years or whatever. Right. And then you have this franchise in the Bills, which history speaks for itself. Right. I mean, haven't won a Super Bowl, went to 4 straight, never got over the hump once. You have that complete juxtaposition of where those two franchises are. And, you could say every year is a new team and history doesn't play you're lying to yourself. Right. That kind of stuff, especially in those really big games like the Super Bowl, those kind of things have a weird way of turning their heads.
But it's funny you say that because aren't we getting to that point with the Niners? It hasn't been back-to-back-to-back Super Bowls.
Yeah.
But that would be the battle of one of these curses are going to break.
That's true.
I don't know which one, but the Niners, they got there with Harbaugh.
Right.
They got there with Shanahan. They've been trying to get over this hump since we were ye children, right? And then you have the Bills who are trying to deal with their issues getting over the hump as well. So I think that would be interesting, but you can't tell me. I think it's getting to the point now where we have so many conversations about the quarterback because that's what the league is about.
Right.
But this whole, how is he going to be able to keep up with the shootout of Patrick Mahomes or the shootout of the Bills? I don't think there would be a shootout.
No. Their defense is too good.
There's not going to be a shootout that you're going to have to work. There's not going to be a shootout to a point where the Brock that we're seeing right now wouldn't be able to keep up.
Right, exactly.
There's no way.
Because the only thing that the Bills really have that, to me, would scare the Niners is Stephon Diggs. And like we saw last week, he's capable of just busting plays and being incredibly explosive. And the Niners' secondary is probably, if you had to give them a weak spot, that's probably their biggest weak spot on the defensive side. But even then, to your point, like, how much can that really do? How much damage can that really do? I mean, the Niners also have, to alleviate having a rough secondary, they have the best pass rush in the NFL.
Exactly.
Good luck, Josh Allen, dealing with Bosa, who's going to be ramped up for those games. I don't need to go through the talent they have, but that's really the big stump card that the Niners have on everybody. It's not just that their offense is elite. Again, it's the fact that their defense, it's not just their defense is good. It's not that their defense is top 10. It's their defense is top 3, and they have some of the scariest players to go against.
Yeah, and that is why it's definitely Super Bowl or bust to me.
Yes.
And I don't see how it can't be, because you put all that stuff in a pot, and eventually, I think if you're a Niner fan, you might be feeling, if they don't do it this year, when the heck are they going to do it?
The talent's so stacked. It's like, they've got everybody. Like, and we've talked about windows. There's a lot of talk about the 49ers Super Bowl window this offseason, and Trent Williams addressed it and got upset about it, but it's a real thing. Like, I mean, Trent Williams is a guy who's getting up there. That line is shaky especially without him. It's really, really shaky. You got to try and Brock only has 2 more years left of not making $1 million. You got to maximize this window that you have here, because you're never going to have this amount of talent on a team ever, ever. The Niners are in an incredibly specific situation where they literally have the biggest deal, the most value in the entire NFL by not paying Brock Purdy at quarterback. You got to take advantage of it.
It's getting to the point now where, again, comparing it to the Eagles, we're going to have to start having the conversation, do the Niners need a close game?
I think so. No, I really think they do.
And I don't know.
You got to be tested before the playoffs.
But I don't know, though. What if they're just that much better?
Yeah, I mean, it could be a great test case because everybody feels like, you got to have some good tests in order to really be ready for what's going to come in the playoffs. Well, what if you don't? What if you actually do just blow everyone out?
Yeah.
I think that's a possibility. It's just not something we've seen in a really long time. But, even the Warriors, when they were dominating with KD, people were like, okay, what's this going to look like if they meet some adversity? It's like, Kanye West once said, a lot of people wonder what would happen if I never won this award. I guess we'll never find it. Like, that could just be the case, is that we just never find out if the Niners have the capability of pulling out a close game, because none of their games will be close. It's a real possibility.
I guess we'll never know.
And
maybe it is a little premature. Maybe we should pause on this. I was going to say, we're going to be back tomorrow here, and maybe we have to pause on this until we see them against the Cowboys.
Sure.
If the Niners do work against the Cowboys, then you start running out of, okay, let's see this test and that test and this test. Then next thing you know, you finish the finals and you're done with the class.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So I don't know what else would happen after that. And again, I'll just say it, even though I don't know that it needs to be said. This is all barring injury.
Right.
This is almost barring injury to multiple guys. Like,
yes, because that's where they have so many fail-safes.
Right. I don't
even
know
if Brock Purdy goes down.
Well, whoa.
I mean, that's
whoa. You're gonna do
I'm
that
not a big Sam Darnold guy. I'm not a big Sam Darnold guy, but
Oh, you're saying I thought you were saying if Brock Purdy goes down, they're still good.
I'm saying that. Yes, I'm saying that is a fail-safe built into their offense.
It looks like we got our show tomorrow.
We got a show for tomorrow.
We got our show
I'm not
for
even
tomorrow.
a big Sam Darnold guy, but even I'm like,
see, man, you're starting to tiptoe
back the layers a little
into the Brock Purdy. It's got a lot of help category. All right, we got to get to a break. When we get back, we will be joined by Whitey and Zachariah, and I will be on Whitey's helmet about some things that he said at Media Day. It's Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Nature Wood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton & Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton & Price in your corner. When you call Ashton & Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real-life person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Red Hawk Resort Casino is an entertainment experience like no other. We're the only place where you can play blackjack, then hop on an indoor car track. We're the only place with more than 2,000 of the hottest slots and a state-of-the-art 18-lane bowling center. And now with a world-class sports bar and a resort hotel to stay after you play. Is it any wonder we've been voted best over 100 times? We're Red Hawk Resort Casino, official casino partner of the Sacramento Kings.
Hi, it's Brian Bennett from Bennett's Restaurants in Roseville and Sacramento, and our newest restaurant, Bennett's Westside Grill at Rockland's Blue Oak Town Center on Lone Tree Boulevard. We believe in serving the freshest handcrafted foods in a warm, convivial setting. Our restaurants are roasting hand-selected prime ribs of beef every week on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and all prime rib specials come with your choice of homemade soup or a fresh green salad. And as many have found out, we also pack these dinners to go. Order online at bennettsrestaurants.com. Having a meeting or large group dinner? Our newest restaurant in Rockland features 3 different event-sized spaces for large group gatherings. 80 guests, no problem. Bennett's Kitchen Bar and Market, Eureka and Lead Hill Roads in Roseville, and Bennett's American Cooking on Fair Oaks and Howe in Sacramento. And our brand new Bennett's Westside Grill at Rockland, Blue Oak Town Center on Lone Tree Boulevard. Come let us put a smile on your face and enjoy our hospitality. Find us on the web at bennettsrestaurants.com and book a reservation today. Eat well, stay well, and remember, Bennett's is where you'll always receive a hospitable welcome.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler. They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Guys, Revive Men's Health Sacramento is making you this guarantee. We will improve the medical condition of your ED or low T, or we'll give you your money back. Book your free appointment today. Call 916-277-8599 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
We are back. Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins, joined by Whitey and Zachariah. How you guys doing?
Good. I got to say, I'm stunned by how quickly he was able to get you to turn from, I love Steph Curry to,
It didn't take long.
No, it was like that,
My magic.
Allen. Like
My
that.
No, you know what, though? It's been bugging me for a while, and did you see the clip from the putting? Okay,
I didn't
so it's literally just like this putting machine
This
in
is
here.
Doug Christie's, by the way. But
I was told. Thank you.
We're very proud of him.
Yes. Did he sign it at least?
No, he just left it.
Okay.
He just left it.
Where Steph, he puts it, and dude, he's just running around as if it's the best day of his life, and it just felt, Steph, enough. I just think just a little less.
That's the same thing he did a couple years ago. Remember when they beat Houston, and Houston was terrible, and he beat him with a buzzer beater?
That's right.
And he was running around, and everyone's like, why are you so excited?
But wasn't that his first buzzer beater ever,
I think
though?
it might have been, yeah.
And that's an NBA game.
Yeah.
Not some media day. It just felt, to me, it felt like this is going to be, and look, everything's calculated now. Everything is content, but it felt like in the back of Steph's mind, let me run around and do this, and they're going to capture it, and it's going to do its thing on social media. That's Steph enough. And I feel so bad about it.
I know, because he's been anti-Steph for a long time. Stunned me when he first said it, and I know you're not. And then listen today, you were like, I like Steph, but you're right. Oh,
Steph,
man, he's
look,
annoying.
It's just, people only want to talk about the good with Steph. No one wants to acknowledge the fact that, it's a little corny.
Where are you,
cringy.
Zachariah? Where are you on? Where's your Steph meter? Like, he's the greatest, or I kind of had a little too much of Steph.
I can understand why people would be annoyed by him, but he's so great, and I think he is actually genuine. I don't think a lot of it is concocted.
Sure.
So I would err more on the side of being pro Steph than anti.
Sure. That one specifically got me. I do think most of the time he is authentic.
Well, also there was the one where he was tossing those shots like full court, and then we found out that like it was all fake.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I don't want to go into people's personal lives, but his wife thing and like the foot fetish. And
I thought we were going to say this league is rigged.
That's 15 yards right there.
That's my role here. I usually push the envelope. I'm sorry.
Pass go and collect 200.
I'm just saying some of it I can see as
Personal
being super
foul.
annoying.
Yeah.
But I think him specifically, and I have a buddy, not to like name drop, look at me, Louis, or anything like that, but I have a buddy named Matt Strauss who does film work for Steph. He really is a genuine, cool dude. And a lot, like, he just gets it. So a lot of the stuff that he does that looks and
contrived,
annoying, and I totally get it, he is up to it.
Yeah.
He's not doing it because he's fake. He's doing it because he knows fake is the way to go.
Right.
That'd be the best way to do it. Yeah,
All
Steph
right.
enough. Yeah.
Other thing is, you
All right.
can't do like the beam after you beat the Kings and expect Sacramento people to go, oh yeah.
See, but I loved that though.
Of course you did.
But that to me that was well. So okay, I guess the question is authentic because did Steph think? The question is, did Steph think when I pull this off,
right,
I'm lighting that beam? But either way, it doesn't bother me.
But my thing is like, why? Why are you deciding to, like, again, you're trying to frame yourself like I don't even know. Again, I might not be framing, but like he is this nice, genuine guy, only wants happiness out there. So then why are you pushing? Is it just to get a react? Is that what
he's a competitor?
Real quick, I think you answered your own question.
I think so.
I think that he does that because he's not like the Tiger Woods where he has stuff to hide. He's got nothing to hide. Everything that you see is actually real. So in order for him to have any sort of controversy, it needs to be corny or contrived or like, you know what I mean? Like, because he doesn't have any drama. I don't think he cheats. I don't think, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think he's just that dude. So that is his thing.
I don't like it.
I hear
you. In the heat of competition, he's the same guy who, when he got the tech, he did the tech back to the ref. Right. I mean, I've always thought that the whole idea of Steph being this soft-spoken guy is true on court, but off court, he's always been a showman. He's always been.
He talks
yeah.
He talks a lot.
He talks a lot.
And he,
I know. I'm with you on that. He gets a pass on that.
And then just tries to I'm the nice guy.
Exactly.
Like,
wait.
No, he's 100% right on that.
I'm not a bad boy, but I am a bad boy.
On court. On court. Not off court. On court. No, you're 100% right.
When I say off court,
the whole mouthpiece thing, the whole all that stuff, he's 100% right on that.
But
he is a showboat on the court.
He is every bit of that.
That's
what makes it so annoying.
But Jordan didn't do that. Jordan would whisper something in your ear.
Well, sure.
Steph will do the whole flippity floppity.
Yeah, but at least Steph, I mean, you got LeBron crowning himself. I mean,
that's not great either.
That's true.
LeBron's not great either.
No,
that's more off the court.
LeBron's the king of it all.
No, if we're gonna have this discussion, that's more off the court. LeBron is more cringeworthy off the court. I would say.
Yeah.
And then on the court, Steph is definitely, he knows that he's pimping it when he's on the court.
Yeah.
Sure.
I love that we're talking about this. I just want to say
it is a great conversation, and I'm glad we're having it.
Get my Brock Purdy take
yes, that's true.
Earlier.
That's true. It was a great take.
I want to hear it. Did you hear it already?
I listened a lot today. I didn't catch that.
Okay, convenient. Real quick. Basically, my Brock Purdy take is that he is the kid that is from a wealthy family. So he has a lot of opportunity. That doesn't mean that he is going to be successful, right? He has he's a better opportunity than other kids from other areas to be successful. Mm-hmm. But we've all known kids that have grown up in good opportunities and found a way to mess it up.
Right.
So that's my Brock Purdy take. It's not that there's one thing to benefit from his situation.
Right.
It's another thing to take advantage. Mm-hmm. And Brock is taking advantage. But we can't have this conversation and not talk about the fact that he's from the football's version of a wealthy family.
Right. You mean because of the offense that he's running?
Yes.
And the defense.
And just the weapons.
And the coaching staff and the GM and every single literal thing around him. I am lockstep with you.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. But your larger point is also valid, which is look at all the guys that have come before him that haven't quite been able, at least to this point, to maximize.
And you can't hold it against him.
No.
He's not messing it up.
Right.
He's taking what I hear what you're saying. He came into a wealthy family, but he's taking that wealthy advantage and building on it.
Oh, no, you're going to make me go there.
What? What did I do?
Is he Kim Kardashian?
I don't even want to say what she's famous for. Anyways, my point is some people come into wealth and they blow it all on ponies, betting on the ponies or whatever. He's taking that and making businesses out of it and making more wealth. So you can't hold it against
some of this for your second day.
Hello. Yeah, that's right. No, we did plenty of Kings today, so we'll get back into it. But yeah, I mean, because here's the thing now. I feel pretty safe saying that Daniel Jones, it would not look like this with Daniel Jones.
Yes, correct.
But
I'd agree.
Here's the real question: if Daniel Jones is on the Niners,
that's what
would
I'm
it
saying.
look similar?
That's what he's
saying.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah. So you got him better than that.
I think so.
Okay.
Well, just the throw that Daniel Jones made last night, Brock Purdy doesn't make that.
It's the bad one you're talking about? Yeah.
By the way, you don't have a tablet that you're going to throw at me today, right?
I might spin one.
Oh, gosh.
There.
That's fine.
I think you can ask that question about a lot of, I frankly wonder that question with Tua. I don't know how much better the Niners would be if Tua were their quarterback. I think they might be a little bit better, maybe, taking a little bit more shots down the field. But realistically, I don't know if there's obviously the Trevor Lawrences, the Patrick Mahomes, all those guys who would absolutely elevate even what the Niners have going on. But I don't know how many guys, to your point, would walk into that situation and necessarily make it a whole lot better.
Yeah. And look, I mean, there's the Josh Allens and the Justin Herberts as well. But at the same time, it's better to have, 2 in the hand or 1 in the hand than 2 in the bush, whatever it is.
Sure. Something like that.
And when you only have one incompletion, we're trying to find things to complain about at this point with the Niners. Yep. That's where we're at. All right. We're getting out of here, Chris.
Yes,
great working with you. See you tomorrow. Next up, you have Whitey and Zachariah.
What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers? Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross keep you up to date on all things red and gold during the Niners at 9 every weekday at 9 a.m. on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11